that high of the day. Let's get our learn on once again with Sharif and Adara. Go get them. It's going to be a fun day. We're back at 2 o'clock, and we got more earnings after the bell. But right now, it's Learn to Trade.
And Kathy was calling there at the end there. I think Aunt Kathy was trying to make a call. What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as That Midday Show. That is your girl Adara, and I'm Sharif. Oh, there she is. Hello, Aunt Kathy.
Why do you think this is an appropriate time to do this? We're trying to start the show, Kathy. We haven't even done roll call yet. If you want to be roll called, get in the chat, but you're not roll calling me. Warren, explain what's going on with Bank of America.
He's a trillionaire. Put some respect on the man's name. He's a trillionaire
Sorry,
now.
Warren. I apologize. Also, fun fact, your boy Charlie and I have the same birthday.
Love it. All right, there you go. There's the introduction to the what's up, everybody. We got Paul Amos. That was awesome there. We got Benson. We got Chucky. Andrew Chow's joining us as well as B, G, Zed, Vicky, Novak, and Matthew Booth making the move over. Fiddlebeck, Peter, we got Blue Arrow, Chelsea, Ashley, and Jeremy Newman. We got Rodrigo Concepcion. We got Chuck Fuller and Cass M. We even have Ram over here. Lionel Martinez. There's the hand, my man Adam DeLuce. We got Mary S. Lyman and Pax. We got Jimmy Joe Smith as well, Adara, Ari Pages, JF Trader. We got Tony Price, Julio Trullo, Dollar Bill, love that. The Piper, my man Fat Figa joining as well. We got Jill Wittenberg, One Beat Short, Ari Pages, Blue Baron, and Rob Newland, Adara. Lots joining us today. Great day to be on these markets. All I can say is wow. You know, the long term is happy, and it's a good day around here. Good vibes all on the floor.
Good vibes, Katina. Good vibes, everybody. I hope you guys are doing well today. Happy to be here with you all. You're doing well, Sharif, as you just said, the long term as well. So happy to hear that. I had just got a good reason to short CrowdStrike here, so I'm going to be trying to get that fill ready to go. We're going to take a smaller position. I'm back live, guys. Man. I am back live because I was like, you know what? All of my favorite spready tickers are coming out the next 2 days. We got CrowdStrike earnings. Tomorrow we have Lulu, tomorrow will be day one Lulu. They report tonight. So basically, I want to clarify what my strategy here is for Crowd. Look at that big old chunk of resistance here just below 281s. I'm risking it to 281s. That's cool. I'm trying to get short 280s. Should it fill me? I've watched the book enough times. Are we bouncing off VWAP? Almost and arguably, yes. But I was watching the book for a long time, like intermittently. I was, intermittently going to the library, reading the book. While I was up at the big desk, I was looking at SPCE. I was looking at CrowdStrike. I said, I want to see how those two are moving. I feel like SPCE honestly has a cleaner tape, which I was not expecting. Hi, Randy.
Randy.
But CrowdStrike.
I love this.
He's on the desk.
The dude just, he's what do they call this? You're omnipresent. He's anywhere, Adara. He shrinks, he expands, he does what he needs to do, Adara.
But that's why I'm trying to go long or go short here, CrowdStrike. Vicky Novak saying long bias today, please. Honestly, I am not really long biased. I'm going to be really honest with you. I'm whatever price action I see biased. I'm biased to what the book's telling me. I was initially looking long on Crowd, but then we can't break that 280 level in the book. I'm like, you know what, Adara, it's a short for here. Will it get filled? We'll have to wait and see. But basically what I'm trying to say is, long story short, the way I was watching on the book and Crowd were really weird and skittish around whole dollar levels, like the 279s, 278s. And we also are a little bit bamboozling. I'm trying to be patient, pack that patience, willing to add into a trade, gonna risk $1. Because with CrowdStrike, you could make, I would say, up to at least 277. So making at least $4 here, risking $1. I think I can live with that. How are you doing?
I like it. I'm just finishing up, putting in my position over here. We're going to look to get out on this. I'm already trading XRTX, a small cap gapper. We're going to put that one. We already put the stop. Let me just make sure that the stop is sound and will trigger during my during the lesson.
I like that you're like giving like side eye to your stops. You're not even giving side eye to it.
Adara, look, I like to threaten things sometimes. It doesn't work as well with humans, but it seems to work with computers. All right, let's get right down to it. We are talking about the commodity channel index all day today. Another indicator to gauge overbought and oversold conditions. Let's talk a little bit about it and then juxtapose it to the stochastics that we learned about yesterday. See which one is better for which. Let me just put up my chart over here for my trade so that I can keep an eye on this one. All right, let's start. So as we typically do, we just, I don't even know what to do here. He seems to be enjoying the lesson. I like how you've got him standing up on the ledge there.
God,
Like, that's excellent. Look at my man. The dude's floating around. Look, and the thing is, too, he doesn't even need to walk to move. He seems to be able to, like, hover above things and then move left, right, and center. I don't know what else to do with this. This is insane. All right, Randy chilling, baby. All right, let's talk about the CCI, Commodity Channel Index. Let's just talk about the basics of this indicator right away. So it is a technical indicator, as I mentioned, but it measures specifically here the deviation of the price from a statistical mean. Where are my quants at? Where are the quants at? This is right down your alley. So this measures the statistical deviation of the price, or sorry, the measures the deviation of a price from its statistical mean. It's often used to identify these overbought and oversold conditions, as well as potential trend reversals. We'll talk about how to use it in a hot second over here. So this is typically how it looks like on the chart. As we always see, the indicators on the lower end of the chart with the price action being on top. However, we have different values off which to work here. Yesterday, we talked about that 80-20 level on stochastics. We know about that 70-30 on the relative strength index. Here, we're using a level of plus 100 and minus 100. That is by no means the max of those, but those are the overbought and oversold areas. Plus 100, you don't put a plus, it's just 100, and then minus 100. Those are the levels off which we're going to base it. All right, let's talk about the calculation for my math nerds out there. Yeah, there it is. Adara's pumping her fist. So the CCI, the Commodity Channel Index, basically here's how it's calculated. The typical price, minus that 20-period simple moving average of the typical price divided by a factor there. So we're not going to get into all that, but for those who are interested in how it's calculated, there you go. Here are the values as you see there in the calculation. The typical price sounds like it's vague, but there's actually a definition for it. It's the high plus the low plus the close divided by 3. Simple enough, right? And then the mean absolute deviation, which is the last part of the equation there. This is basically the average absolute difference between the typical price and the 20-period simple moving average of that typical price, Randy. The formula was derived essentially, you don't really need to know too much about it. It was derived off a concept of standard deviation. So it's based on that statistical principle for all the people that took finite or took stats. It used to be called finite. Remember when we were in OEC, it wasn't called stats, it was called finite. Remember back in the day? Yeah, exactly. Finite, calculus, and algebra were the big ones. Huh. Yeah. All right, so how do we use the Commodity Channel Index? What's the move here? So as we've talked about with a lot of these oscillators and the ones that gauge overbought and oversold, there are 3 ways we're going to present you with to use CCI. Number 1, you identify that overbought, oversold condition. Not going to belabor that. Self-explanatory. It can be used to identify anything above 100 or minus 100. It can also be used to confirm trends, and I'll show you what that looks like on the graph in a hot second. But a rising CCI can confirm an uptrend, while a falling CCI obviously confirms the downtrend, and identifying divergences here between the price action and the Commodity Channel Index. If they're not jiving, typically means that there's a bullish or bearish reversal on the horizon, and it behooves you to be aware of that. So how do we identify these overbought and oversold conditions? Each indicator seems to have its own moves and its own levels. Let's talk about the ones for the Commodity Channel Index. When it's overbought, when the CCI reading rises above 100, it indicates that the market may be overbought. This suggests that the prices have risen, a little too fast, too quickly, and may be due for a correction. Conversely, when the CCI reading falls below 100, the market is said to have been oversold, and it's suggesting to you that the prices have fallen a little too quickly, and we might be due for that mean reversion. Hopefully it's not mean. And here's what we looked at over here. And by the way, so we talked about the CCI being based on a 20 period. That's by no means a hard and fast rule. Look how this graph here has a CCI based on a 50 and a CCI based on a 20. You can customize the inputs here, and I guess this individual was looking to make comparisons between the 50 and the 200, much like we use different moving averages, right? That can't be all that unusual for us. So there's your oversold condition when it's below that minus 100. There's your overbought condition when it's above plus 100. That's the look there. So the other way we can use it is to identify divergences. Price makes new highs. CCI makes lower highs. We kind of know the drill there, but let's talk about it. So a bullish divergence here occurs when the price makes a new low. Price makes a new low, but the CCI does not make a new low. In fact, it makes a higher low or it's stagnant. This is suggesting to you that the buying pressure is steadily increasing and a potential reversal may be on the way. A bearish divergence, though, kind of the opposite of that. It occurs when the price makes a new high, but the CCI doesn't make that new high. In fact, maybe it makes a lower high or an equal high. And it's suggesting to you at that point that the selling pressure this time is increasing and a potential downward reversal may be on the way. So here's kind of how it looks. We're making higher lows on the CCI, yet during that exact same time on the price action, we made lower lows. So this is a bullish divergence. And look what happens to the price after. Breaks through that roof and continues up. Conversely, over here, we start making higher highs. However, on the CCI, we don't necessarily make that higher high. Okay, and here's what I mean by the same level. So just because you trough higher or lower on most occasions doesn't mean you will on every time. And here are the troughs right at the same level. So you need to be on the lookout for that. So here's how to spot the divergences. Here's a 1-2-step procedure. Let me just make sure that I'm printing. I'm doing all well here. All right, we're gonna wet our beak here, Adara.
Nice.
All right, good. All right.
Get that beak.
Yeah, I did. So here's how to spot divergences.
We do.
We do. Get it, Adara. Yeah, I gotta get that from you. I don't know why.
I'll send it to you because it's a fun one. Shout out to Fabian and Ramin for everything they do there.
Well, I'll shout out Fabian.
Okay.
Here's how to spot divergences. Well, number one, you identify a new high or low on the price. That's step number one. Number two, you look to the commodity channel index indicator to see if it's made a corresponding high or low. If there is a mismatch, a divergence may be occurring, whether bullish or bearish. Super simple to spot. Just need a little bit of practice sometimes to be able to identify those peaks and troughs, those crests and troughs. That's really all it comes down to. Last but not least here, we're going to compare the commodity channel index that we're learning about today to the stochastic oscillator that we learned yesterday. It's important to juxtapose these to figure out which one is best for what situation. So both the CCI and the stochastic oscillator, we know, are momentum oscillators that can be used to identify overbought and oversold conditions and spot potential reversals. However, there are some key differences. Let's talk about those. The focus of CCI here is on the deviation of the price from the statistical mean. That's not even considered in stochastics. Stochastics focus on one specific thing, the closing price relative to that high-low range that we've established. So they're not looking at the same thing. Maybe looking to cure the same issue, but they're not the same thing. Number two, the calculation, obviously fundamentally different. The CCI uses a 20-period formula, while the stochastic uses a 3-period SMA, simple moving average. Last but not least, the sensitivity of these indicators also a little bit different. The CCI in this case can be more sensitive to larger price swings, while stochastics may be employed here for short-term price fluctuations. So that is kind of where maybe they're best used. So super simple to use, in theory, a little bit different IRL. Pamp it. There we go, baby. Nice trade here on XRTX. We'll go 2 for 2 on that boy, Adara. What are you looking at?
Yeah, I'm in 2 trades right now. I'm short both. Tesla, I have a feeling this is going to be a bit of a mesla. What I wanted here was, shout out to that 210.50 level. We know Sean had the long 250. But you know what else we know? Support resistance can flip. So we get to that 210.50, we get weak on Tesla. Tesla's like, wait, am I supposed to keep going? I'm like, and look at you, Tesla. You're under previous support. Look at you. To be clear, that was support with a lot of these bullish candles. And also, to be clear, we did have a little bit of a bullish bottoming tail candle here as well into 209.50s. But what made me go short? A, I like the action on the book. B, we are anemic. Shout out to Sharif. Sharif is trying to break above that 210.50. It's not happening. The closest I was going to be stopping myself here. I'm getting out if we get to 210.70s. Closest we got 210.67s. And then Tesla's like, oh, right, I can go down again. So To be clear, the lowest I've seen us weekend to is 210.30. Should have probably scalped out there because we bounced decently, but I don't really trust this push higher. I think if Tesla pops, it's going to pop. It is, Tesla. So with that, we get out of the Tesla one as we kind of push higher here. There we go. Nice while it lasted. Had fun with you, Tesla. Let's go over to CrowdStrike. So it did take a bit of a hit there, 20-cent hit on TSLA. Crowd. I'm starting to doubt my call on Crowd, and I say that because look at all these bottoming tail candles here into VWAP. Not a great look. I also say sometimes I think it's beneficial not only to look at wider time frames, but also shorter term time frames. If you look at the 3-minute, VWAP hold, higher low, But, there's this quote by Chance the Rapper that I say a lot, and I also say it sometimes on this show. This will not let you second guess your first mind. My first mind was telling me short Crowd. My first mind was telling me to short Crowd because look at that rejection here at 279. Initially, I wanted to enter here at 280. We never even got to 280. I'm giving this 70 cents of risk here, risking it to 280 20s. Look at these kind of, 280 20s, these kind of wicks we had up here. That's where I would like the smoke to end. Up until that point, I would like all the smoke. Also, we're about 50 cents of the money here on CRWD again. I am back live again, guys. This is a smaller-ish position. I took a little bit more with the Tesla scalp because that's very much a playbook trade for me. Like I said, I've been trying to develop a playbook. My playbook involves trading spready stocks based on the book and levels. There's a couple SPY scalp rules and also TSLA. So let's see here if we can crack here in Crowd. I'm adding if we break 278. I'm going to start piecing things out here at 277s because look at that support resistance. Do I want to be taking some out there? Yes, I would. But my biggest level that I watched on the book, and it gets a pushback, even though you can only kind of see it on the chart. Look at that 275. That was a massive level in the book. If you saw what that thing did at the book, that was nuts. That was, why? That is worthy of smoke, Sharif.
That's amazing,
And that's the smoke I would like to be giving it. We're $1 in the money on Crowd. Let's see if we can keep it going. Took it on Tesla, but it looks like my idea wasn't wrong. Someone yesterday in the chat, I think it was MR9 or something, was saying you should try getting short at your stop areas or getting long at your stop areas because the ideas work. Look who got wicked out of Tesla on a trade that would now be in the money. So I need to really
I didn't want to influence you. I didn't want to say anything, but I drew a downward channel, and I liked your trade, but I didn't want to talk. Because it's putting in lower highs and lower lows, not aggressively, Adara, but I think you absolutely had the right idea there.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, we'll see what goes here. I accidentally put up a CWD, and I don't know why. That XRT, though, was interesting. I said to Sharif, I don't usually have small caps on my side chart. Very happy to invite XRTX on my side chart. And there's a reason for that. Well, there's actually two reasons. I'm just going to get as we speak, I'm going to get my little entry point ready here for my little CrowdStrike I'm going to be adding here. But basically with XRTX, what I liked here was look at the way we broke that, just below $2, that 195 level. Higher lows, we break it. I was like, I want to see what kind of did their support resistance. I love that you entered at 205. I think that was a really cool level in XRTX. That is the small cap I am watching. Yeah, thank you guys for the kind words of congratulations in the chat. I do appreciate it. Trying to grow a bit every day. We do have a beak winner, or not a beak winner, a bid, or an extra entry here. In addition, a reload here in CrowdStrike if we get it filled. Wow, look at SoFi. Some people are saying, shout out to Tony Price, I know you trade SoFi. A lot of people mentioning all this strength here in SoFi. And yeah, SoFi seems so fine over here. I will say that to you. That is for darn sure. Look at this here in SoFi. That is I would say, Tony Price was saying, is that a bull flag on the 10-minute? I think it's a bull flag on the 5, honestly. I think it's just a bull flag, period. Look at this push up. We chip, we chop, we chip, we chop. Then we bounce here off 798s. Now, what you can do with bull flags is use the length of the pole to measure what your potential move up could be. So let's say, I will say we started here 766. Wow, that's a big day for SoFi. So that gives you, honestly, guys, about 30 cents if we pop. Now, that's SoFi. It's already up 8%. I don't want to be like, oh, this could move parabolically, continue to do so from here. But it is worth noting, bull flags can give you that potential to give that push up to the extent that we had the move up earlier. So lots of love on SoFi. Crowd continuing to be in the money here after my ad. We're going to get ready to take out some profit here at 277, Sharif. I am
fantastic, Adara.
Thank you. That's why you got to trust yourself. I realized that's what I wasn't doing. I would see levels I like to just not get in because I was scared. But scared traders are deficient traders. I was listening, Sharif saw me, it was like dancing. I was listening to some pump up music today, trying to get in my zone, trying to, do some meditating, try to be more in my head. I don't know why I pressed this button accidentally, but please join, guys.
I'll talk.
Vote for all of the tickers that you want to vote for in the chat. ! join space $ ticker is brought to you by Real Trading. And if you vote, Sean and Neil might be able to look at your ticker. So how cool would that be? I think pretty cool.
I think it's pretty cool, Dara. I think it's really cool. Shout out to Nicole Harris and shout out to Hotlanta. Nicole wants to talk about XPEV. So Nicole, get into the chat, throw XPEV in there as your vote for the Neil and the Sean to cover. My man Ibad wants to talk about Mara. He likes Mara. Met wants to talk about IREN. Throw it in the chat. ! Join space $ and IREN. Anuview wants to talk about NVIDIA. Throw NVIDIA. I'm willing to bet you there's going to be a lot of people voting NVIDIA your way today, Anuview. That's just, an inclination I have. So throw that in the chat as well. My man Vic Novak, he wants us to talk about the SPY long. Throw that in the chat. So guys, throw whatever tickers you want into the chat. Neil and Sean, they come on at 2 o'clock. And they'll look at them for you. That's kind of what we do on the afternoon segment. All right, guys, Ram, let's go to the small cap watch list not watch list, side charts over here, see what's afoot. So XRTX, the one that we've been trading, that one already on the way back down with a lower high, looking to test that $2 level again. I don't have shorts on this one, but we will find out how much those cost. It's up a nice, an easy, a light 80%. Having done 114 million shares on the day. It's a $6 million market cap with a float of 2.8 million shares. And the short float, let's find out what that is real quick over here by shouting out the NOS boss and his boys there at Trade Ideas, XRTX. It's a negligible short float, 0.02% of the float, is shorted. So not much to talk about with respect to this one becoming parabolic, but definitely on my view. Astis is back. ASTS, not a bad look, not a big parabolic mover either. Let's load up what this one. I'll remind you about the details of this one. 7%, $8 billion market cap, trying to hover around that 30, having a lot of trouble with 30, but finding support off the volume-weighted average price. We'll keep tabs on that. ALAB, not a bad look for this one either. What's this one's deal? ALAB?
That was Astera, I believe.
All right.
It IPO'd earlier this year.
Nice. Yeah, it's a big company, Adara, about $7.5 billion, so not a small cap gapper by any means. It's got 2.86 million shares on the day, and the float's large, about 125 million. And let's find out what the short float is there, ALAB. It is nice, 10.1/5% of this short here, or this float is shorted. I like this, possibly a bounce at the volume-weighted average price. That's around 47.25. We'll have to see if that comes into that level. Lucy, also on watch today, not much of a mover after the bell was more of a pre-market pump there at 8 o'clock, really shot up, but did zig and zag here, did halt once after the bell at around 9:45, finding itself above the volume-weighted average price finally, so we can possibly trade this as a breakout trade, having all sorts of trouble though at 6.5. It had trouble with that initially at around 10. It's having trouble with it again. So a couple of rejections there on LUCY at that 6.5. And it behooves me to remind you the details about this name. Here it is. So it's an $8.6 million market cap with 60 million shares traded on the day today. Good look there. 17.25 million share float, and the short float for this bad boy, about 3 2/3%. No, not a whole lot there. As you can see, I've got the likes of Salesforce up on my chart. Salesforce is at break even now. Let me just make sure that that's accurate by scrolling down. Salesforce, yeah, it is exactly flat. So we are at exactly the same point that we closed out yesterday, that 259, high 258s. We'll see if we get a bounce here. We've already breached it on the day. We weaseled down into about 257, a little bit below that, but we haven't even been able to recover into the volume-weighted average price. So I'm watching Salesforce here, CRM. Well, single-handedly why the Dow was up aggressively today, it and Apple. And that's kind of changed a little bit since then. I've also got Dell up here. Great look for them. They report after the bell. They were able to recover a little bit off that bottom. They were being sold off into the pre-market. We're assuming in sympathy with HP. They also got a downgrade from Morgan Stanley. Not a downgrade, but a price target decrease. Affirm. This is the one I'm interested in. I was trading this in the sim for like 1,000 50% winner today. We look to take this one off yesterday's closing price or the high at around 37.5. I got like a 38 or something like that. Now we're talking about $42.5. Very much respecting the 20 exponential on the 5 over here at 11.05, 11.10, 11.15. Defended that 20 exponential and looking to make new highs. The high of the day, 42.58. Let's zoom out a little bit here because the firm's been at these levels probably not too long ago. Let's go to the 4-hour. Is there any levels off which we need to be concerned with today? So we're at 42.58 high. Yeah, this 44.45, I mean, we have some interactions around there, but it's a convoluted area because of the amount of chip and chop that we had during that time. So, yeah, so a great look today. This thing's up 33.5%. Guys, Affirm is not a small capper. Affirm is a multi-billion-dollar company. It's a $13 billion company, and it's traded 33.5 million shares on the day. So very strong. We'll cover this, the large caps when we get back from Adair. Oh, yeah, do it because I have to set up for the read.
Yeah, I have never been happier with the trade than I was with this CrowdStrike short. So
Wow.
I am so proud. This was so playbook. And I wrote here 2 notes for myself. The book on Crowd is really bamboozling today, so rely on it less than you normally would. Use it in addition to your chart read. Look for a coil down before compression and a spring back up. I think that's what I was looking for longs, but for shorts, I did the opposite. Got short here again. And initially, too, I was initially looking for the short at 280. When I realized I wouldn't get that, I said, Dara, 279.50s, risk 70 cents. It's worth it for the type of profit you're trying to make. Maybelline, you're worth it, or whatever. CoverGirl, I don't know, whatever one that was. But this was exactly as planned. I added exactly where I wanted to, 278s, because look at that support. I said if that gives up, it'll break. And there were times in this trade, as I said, where I got a little bit squirrely because I didn't like all that support at VWAP. But I said, Adara, trust yourself. Hi, Randy. Trust Randy as well, because he knows cars and he's chilling. But yeah, basically, got out exactly where I wanted to. Took out the second piece. I didn't think I'd get 275s. We got 275s. I got out technically 275.30, just the level where those candles were. Then I took out my last piece at around 274.50, and that's just because that was where we were having a bit of a struggle in the book. That being said, this 273.50 area, support on the chart, but like what it's doing in the book is wild. There is somebody big chilling at 273.50. I'm not getting back on this until I have more levels, but I'm really proud, Strike, of my CrowdStrike trade. Lots of journaling to be done on this. Sometimes you just got to go after your level, trust yourself, keep it coming. Two little super chats here. Shout out to Willis Addison saying, humble, swung $35, Strike, Affirm calls. Yeah, you weren't pleased as much with that. I'm going to look at Affirm here as I look at the others. Oh, wait, these are already almost $3 in the money. Shout out to you, Willis Addison. Also, shout out to Davon Wade for the $1 super chat. Not seeing a message, but shout out to you. Thank you guys for the support in the chat. I'm really happy to, to take that CrowdStrike trade, to learn a little bit from this crowd.
I have a question.
Please do.
Can you tell us the dollars per share at the lowest part there? How many dollars per share did you take at the lowest part?
Okay, well, at that point, I got 278. Oh my gosh, Sharif, I had $3.50 on this. I didn't even realize that. Thank you, I appreciate that. Thank you.
I was waiting. I'm like, when are we going to hear about how many dollars was taken? You know where you are, Adara? No. There it is.
Thank you, Sharif. Sharif was just saying in the desk too, he loves hyping people up. I really appreciate that. I'm really proud of what I did with this trade, proud Strike, and I'm ready to make some more, hopefully smart decisions here. I love that 273.50 area though, so crowd, you're still on watch.
Bang. All right, guys, are you tired of being late to the trade? Are you always playing catch up in the market, Ram? Are you missing out of the big moves because you're too slow to the news? Well, Benzinga Pro is your unfair advantage. Get breaking news alerts up to 30 minutes before everyone else and pinpoint exactly why stocks are moving, and join a thriving community of traders who share their strategies in real time. Are you ready to see how Benzinga Pro can transform your trading? If so, visit benzinga.com/pro and get yourself that free 14-day trial. I know that that's what this gentleman is saying. He's saying 14-day free trial. That's why I still got a little bit black in my hair. Otherwise, he'd be absolutely white there. Poor guy. All right, so let's keep an eye out here on these markets. Let's bring in the side charts because we didn't have a look at the Mag 7 yet. So let's weasel in the Mag 7 and see what's afoot, what's strong, what's weak, and what's deviating from the chart of the NQ. So right away, you can kind of see a little bit of convergence here between some of the stronger names in the NQ. NVIDIA, a bit of an outlier. I'm going to say NVIDIA and Tesla are looking awfully interesting for areas of shorts. I particularly like this 122.5 area on NVDA. It seems to be an area that keeps coming in. It came in the pre, and it came in again there as a local area top right at 11 o'clock, give or take. So we'll keep an eye out for that. I happen to really like Adara's idea with respect to the short on Tesla. It's still respecting that downward channel. It hasn't breached it on any closing basis, just a couple of wicks out here and there. If you extend these trend lines, look for it to stay within the channel. But ultimately, though, I am seeing an area of support around that 209 and a fifth, maybe 209 and a half, but to basically jive with that pre-market consolidation area top that we had on TSLA. Even though Tesla is up 2.25 today, it feels, you know, it's been giving up the ghost a little bit. On the strong side of things, I'm going to have to give a shout out to the NQ, obviously, which is looking quite strong. I'm going to have to shout out Apple as well as Amazon. Amazon only up 1.75, so it's not the leader, but the chart looks awfully good here on both Apple and Amazon, both looking to curl off the 10 or the 20 into those highs. For Amazon, it's about 174.25. For Apple, it's about $233, 232.92 on AAPL. We'll keep tabs on that. Meta, I haven't had as much of a read on, but now that I look at it, there does seem to be a whole lot of respect here with the volume-weighted average price on Meta. If you were able to weasel in an entry at VWAP, you've done well. However, look at these lower highs here that are quite, you know, instructive as to how we should be trading this going into the afternoon. I'm a little suspicious of these lower highs, but simultaneously, you also have higher lows as well. So a bit of a compression pattern. Unsure how this resolves. Typically, it does resolve to the high side if it's an uptrend, 1.5%. So you got to assume that's a bit of an uptrend. Google, I haven't been inclined to trade Google at all lately because it's just been, it just hasn't been the mover. Softy here though, at the volume weighted average price, that's one hell of a bull flag here on MSFT. Obviously, again, overnight, not really overnight, towards the end of the day yesterday, we got wind that OpenAI was doing another funding round. Obviously, it's a private funding round. It's an up round, obviously, because now they're worth about $100 billion, okay? So big boy moves there for the Microsoft connected company. Microsoft being obviously the biggest investor, institutional investor in OpenAI. So I was looking for some boosts here on Softy, and not a bad look, up 2%. Definitely outperforming the market by double, exactly. 2.2 for Softy, 1.1 here for the NQ September contract. So I'm interested in Apple as well as Amazon. Maybe Softy if you can respect Microsoft or the volume weighted average price, but I'm looking at Tesla and NVIDIA as shorts unless they show me something different, Adair.
Yeah, I want to thank Devion Wade for here for the super chat. Another super chat here, $2 super chat saying, please look at sound. I tagged him and I said, you know what, I have it up. I will definitely do that for you. Thank you for the kind words as well there, Devion. Happy to be here. I will say my biggest thing with sound, and that's why I drew lines, I don't like the steadily declining volume as we have a steady uptick in price. To me, that is a bit of a divergence. Ooh. That is a bit of a lack of confluence, dare I say, between what we have in the price action, what we have in the volume. So I want a huge caveat before I do anything further in the analysis. That to me is, I think, something to be aware of. That being said, price action wise, if you ignore the volume, which again, I think it's worth noting the volume, but I find it interesting, $5, not really a level for sound now necessarily, but that $4.99, we held hecka support at $4.99. We have that big red candle into it, then we hold it for a couple of candles, it's a 5-minute, and we push higher. So I do like this look here in Soundtown. Let's take a look on the daily to see if there's any other patterns. Again, the volume is more just kind of be aware of that, because I think sometimes it's interesting when you have a continued push up, but there's less and less participants involved. Okay. Soundhound kind of making a bit of a sound wave. Shout out to Soundwave, the producer. But this is interesting. Slightly higher lows here on Soundwave, but the highs are kind of inconsistent. We definitely made a higher high, actually off a previous level here at 550. Then we get to 650. Then we make some lower highs. So I find it's a little bit hard to read the wave here on Soundhound. The dogs are a little bit confused. They're like, arf, arf, arf. They're making the Scooby sound. But yeah, I think in terms of levels here, I am not sure if it's realistic to say Soundhound's going to get to this $5.40 level with dwindling volume. That being said, 540, clear double top for Soundhound. If we can get there, we can make it anywhere. It's up to you, Soundhound, Soundhound. We're singing Frank Sinatra now, Sharif. That's what we do over here. Let's
Get it,
go
Nadera.
SMCI and keep going for once, says Random Oddities. I love your name. And I also, for better or worse, love trading the ticker you mentioned. Say for better or worse, because that one can't be Bamboozler in Chief. Let's take a look at SPCE over here. Oh. It's a pushback. Why does it get a pushback? You might ask. Maybe you didn't. Okay, so I have two levels I like in SMCI. I'm not trading them until it gets to either of them. One of them is 438. The other one is 442. Both of these were levels that were interesting yesterday and also interesting today. I will tell you, I watched the book on SMCI when it's at the big desk, what it did at 442. So the ask gets a little gradually lower here. The bid holds 442.01s like beautifully. And I say, that's bullish if I've ever seen it. We go higher. So I trust my read on the book on this. If it gets to levels I like, I will be watching 442. I will also be watching 438. In between there, what we have is honestly just a gorgeous V-shaped recovery here. Higher highs, higher lows. But I would like to see what we do at 458. We've looked into that level a couple times here. A little bit of chip chop here earlier, so that would be an interesting level. Holding, though, VWAP very beautifully at this 452 level. So a couple levels of interest, but I'm not going to get involved in SPCE unless I see anything in the book I like. At levels I love. Vince Jane saying, Adara, the Tesla expert. I don't know about that, let me tell you. But, Tesla. Because I agree, like, Sharif and I have the same read on Tesla. We were both like, this thing looks weak. But if it reclaims that 210.50 area, that would be dope, because that was the level we know that's where Sean went long, that hashtag Sticky Note Nation.
Bang.
We know that was a level of resistance earlier. If we can reclaim that 210.50, given the support we held here, look at that previous wick too at 209.50s. Tesla can hold here. It's great, but I wouldn't be getting long 210.50s. I'd be getting long 210.70s. Why? Because it's the area that stopped me out last time. I know that's an area of interest to Tesla. So if we can reclaim 210.70s, I'll get long there and I'll risk into 210.50s. That's my play on TSLA. Let's see if we can get hot back into that Cybertruck, though. I do apologize for using that phrase because I know Sharif was never able to hop into one in the first place. But if there's any tickers you want Sean and Neil to hop into, get into that chat. Exclamation point. Join. Space. $, whatever ticker you're interested in. We usually say, don't just look at the mega caps, look at everything, but NVIDIA will definitely be on there. We've got some action here in crowd. AMD, pretty interesting. Whatever you're looking at here, get into that chat. Let us know. Tesla, you gonna give me a long? You have to wait and tell me. All I know is I'm confident. I'm gonna trust my levels. Tesla, along you. That's how I think the stocks. Sharif's usually the only one who gets to see that, so. Yeah, he enjoys it.
Good times.
Good times, Katina. Good times, everybody.
Yes, ma'am.
I love that CRM that you're looking
Yeah,
at.
we'll,
Such a nice look.
we'll give it a try. Okay. So here's the look. We're in CRM right now. I'm looking for this to curl back up off the lows. I'm looking for a VWAP retracement, maybe around 262. We're going to give it down into 259, so we're going to risk a little bit over here. On CRM, we're going to let that cook. It's already breaking down, though, so we may end up getting stopped out here super quick, and it looks like we will. Sadly. So we're looking for the high day break. We had about 25 pennies, but it didn't actually, that was not enough. Like, you can't make 25 pennies on a name that moves dollars. So we're going to let this one cook. If it stops us out, it stops us out, and that's the name of the game. What else are you guys looking at over here? I'm looking at my gap scanner. It looks like XRTX is breaking down, sadly. So the continuation trade on this one, yeah, it's putting in lower highs. I was thinking about waiting at $2 for this one, but when you start seeing topping tail candles like this becomes a bit of a problem here. And now I'm going to have to ask possibly Neil when he does get back to his desk to see how much the shorts on XRTX. I'm not going to say make the same mistake I did yesterday, though, which is fight with this above the volume weighted average price on a short. It's going to have to break down and stay down, because I ended up getting into that ASST short yesterday at VWAP, but then it was able to reclaim VWAP super quick, and so that wasn't the move for me, obviously. So we're going to pack our patience with this one and wait till it does break down. I'm seeing what I need to see on it, though, right now, which is these topping tail candles, which are making lower highs. It's about to make a lower low, so it's got all the right ingredients. Just needs to get below the volume weighted average price. It's got a hell of an area of support here between $2 to around $1.95. Look at these pre-market, like the pre-market double top that it put at $1.95, just in front of 2, and then was able to drop back into 1 1/3, reclaims that level, and then uses it as support right here at that 10:55, 11 clock time slot. So we'll see what we get here with our XRTX and we'll base some more trades off that. We're still in this CrowdStrike trade. It's not breaking down. Well, it probably will break down below 260 soon. If it does, we'll get stopped out of that. Let's look at some of these Mag 7s and see what's the foot with the Mag 7s. Anything going? Okay, so Apple did bounce off the 20 exponential, but it is now putting in that rounded top. So we've seen this a lot with Apple. You know, it makes new highs and then it gives back some of the highs and then closes around the midpoint of the day. So if that's the case, then we want to get short on the dead one Apple. There is support though, not just because of the 20 exponential at 232, but there's this area crest over here right at 10 o'clock that did reject off 232 before obviously claiming it in the end. So we'll see if this one breaks down and whether it can change its sequence of lower highs and lower lows with this rounded top and make new highs. Otherwise, it's not a long for me yet at this moment. We're still whiffling and waffling here on CrowdStrike, or sorry, not CrowdStrike, Salesforce, as it comes into that 260 level, Adara. Still waiting to see whether I get stopped out or pops back up.
Yeah, I got long Tesla here. We'll see how long my long lasts. I have a feeling the long may be short-lived. I got long Tesla, 210.70s. This is exactly the level I wanted. This was, I said, if we get to 210.70s, we get long, we're risking to 210.50s. Why did I wait to 210.70s? Because I said that was a level that I was using in my stop earlier. I liked it as a level of resistance. Resistance and support can and often does flip. Right now, we kind of wicked above it. I got in and that moved down. But look at how aggressive. People are fighting here at Tesla at 210.70. They're throwing their dukes up, Sharif. I would love to see TSLA clear this 211.85 area. Look at all of these wicks here. If we can clear that, you know, to use a Nas quote, the world is yours. The world is yours, Tesla.
The world is yours.
Whose world is this? The world is yours. The world is not. Yeah, I'm not going to rap the whole song, but I do love that song. Let's see what... Okay, I deserve those crickets, but it's all good. Hopefully there's no crickets for my Tesla trade. Let's see what happens here. In terms of profit taking, we're looking for 211s to take out a piece here. I'd like to add, like I said, if we can get above that 210.85s, I'm only risking 20 pennies with Tesla. I think that's very, very manageable. Risking it to 210.50s. We already bounced off 210.50s once. Let's see if we can bounce off it again. I'm aware this is a skosh counter trend, but I waited for my levels. I'm confident. I'm confident. I'm whatever. I'm confidera. Darwin. Also, Darwin was saying Adala Club, which I enjoyed that pun as well for the CrowdStrike, so I do appreciate that. Tesla, though, well below that, or not well below, but we are below that area here. We're going to be getting out here of the Tesla one. We got out cleanly. It's all good there, baby. Got out just as we broke below 50s. I wanted none of that smoke. That was not a dream. We've had 2 L's on Tesla, so maybe, I don't think my read is necessarily wrong. I don't think I'm risking enough, so I'm going to have to take a breathe, take a deep step. I find when you go from trading heavily spready tickers to trading these like little quick ones, I still trust my read on the faster ones, but I think I need to remember, you know, got to give them some breathing room sometimes. Don't crowd them, you know? Give them some space. Speaking of crowd, didn't even mean to do that. CrowdStrike, why do we keep typing CWD? CrowdStrike. I'm not rushing back into this trade. I have a habit of having a trade that works well. I find this, especially in earnings names, and then going back to the well. And it's like, stay out of the well, Adara. Unless the well is streaming at you, stay out of the well. Leave Lassie in the well. I don't know. But that 275 level, I really like on CrowdStrike, 275.30. If we have a bounce there, I'm kind of interested in the long. That being said, I'm kind of hesitant to go long until I see what we do 277s. There are clear levels. I watch them in the book. I watch them in the chart. They're hitting every time. I need to trust myself. And because I think if you don't trust yourself, if you don't believe in yourself, who's going to do that for you? No one can. Also, I want to talk about Dollar General, which I've had a notably bad track record with SSR in it. Snowflake last week. There's another Nova Nordisk. But I love this look on, like, I saw these wicks here, right? On Dollar General. I said to myself, Adara, if we break above the 90 MA, higher lows, you want to go long. And it bamboozled the heck out of you. I tried to go long 88.50s. It dropped all the way back to 88. I was like, thank gosh I didn't go long there. But I want a long here in Dollar General. I really do. If we get here back to 59 or 60s, I'll risk it to 35s. It's a level I really like. So we're going to have our level here at 61s. I think there's a possibility we wick into this. It could go against me. That's always a possibility with trades. But if you believe in it, why are you not taking it? Unless you can't get filled, because that's a really sad reality as well. Also looking at AMD here, I know Joanna Brewster in the chat was mentioning this one. AMD is a permanent resident of my side chart, but it's not one that I trade a lot necessarily. This AMD though, this is so, I saw you mention this and I looked at my side chart and I was like, this is beautiful. Look at these. It's not quite a double top, but it's almost a double top. Slightly lower high here. Resistance just below 149. Now we're pushing it below VWAP. I think what you can risk into this little 148.20, you're risking like 20 pennies here, getting short 148. Again, not advice, just my take on the chart. Then I would say you have at least until 147.40. That's the next level of resistance. That's like 60 penny winner, 3-1. As I'm talking, it broke down. So sorry I wasn't able to look at that earlier. But AMD, if you want to retest 148, I might have to put my hand into AMD. That would be a better pun for ARM. But Dollar General, definitely not going to get filled here as it tries to push 89s. I'm willing to dip by that a little bit, but I'm not chasing waterfalls on Dollar General, especially because my track record with SSR names is, to put it lightly, deeply sketchy. How are you doing?
I like it. I'm well. Let's check quickly. I'm going to check for Vicky and Novak. I just want to check here quickly what CRM is doing. I'm waiting a bit. Boy. All right, now we're nicely 80 pennies in the money on this name. Let's see if we can wet our beak a little bit more. I did add at 260. It was an aggressive DCA there. I just wet my beak on a big winner. I'm really happy with this one. I'm looking for more. I'm hungry. I'm thirsty. I'm everything in between. I'm looking for a possible 262.5 move. That's where VWAP is. I know it's a little ambitious. I'll likely wet my beak on the way up into that level if it does get into that level. It's still having trouble with 261, but this is the third attempt now at said 261 level. So we'll see if third time is a charm. We are putting in higher lows in accumulation of that 261 break, but it's been an elusive target. So I'd like initially, so I have enough to take a couple of more out here. I'd like initially something at maybe 261.5. And then we'll maybe take out the last remaining piece if it does work up there into that 262.5. So let's put a beak wetter at 261. We'll go over here. That's a sell. So we'll put that there for the top end break. I'm seeing 94 show up here right now on the ask. However, the bid is not moving up as aggressively. So this has been the problem. I've had to wait for this 261 break. It's been a bit of an elusive target on CRM. I'm willing to pack my patience now that I've gotten a little bit out and I have a better cost basis, but there's this area crest over here, Adara, is what's kind of holding us back. What's keeping me in the trade are the higher lows. All right, so that's the look there. Vicky and Novak, am I on the 3 minute? So here's the move for me. I execute my trades on the 1 and I chart on the 5. So when you see the black side charts that I bring in, these are all 5-minute time frames. I know it's super hard to see, and you may have to zoom in on this if you're using your phone or whatever, but right there, it'll see 5-minute candles, like that's the drop down, but they're all 5-minute. You can just take my word for that. On the side charts, always 5 minutes. However, the white charts over here will always be on the 1 minute. I execute on the 1 and chart on the 5. I hope that jives with everybody there. So I'm still waiting for a 261 break. We're showing 90s and change right now on the ask, but again, no 261 break yet so far. Juan Alejandro Castillo, Donald Trump owns 60% of DJT, but can't sell till September 20th. People are selling the stock before he cashes in. After September 20th, DJT is done for good. Look, I don't like to be so declarative, because I don't know what I don't know. I know that's a tautology, but I really don't know what I don't know. And I'm not saying you don't know, but I'm just wondering how you know, right? That nobody buys in. The assumption is that everybody's pricing in that he's going to sell and it's going to tank. Maybe you're absolutely right, but it's something that I think is in the future, and I can't predict that. So fantastic. If you want to short that, take some shorts against it, and you print up a storm, I'll be the first person cheering for you. I'll tell you that. But I don't want to act upon information that may or may not happen. That's just my look. All right, so we did get a 261 break there. We're printing $0.25 here now, $0.01 on the ask. I was waiting at the $0.25 for the top end break. Looks like I'm going to have to continue to wait. The selling is a bit tough right now on CRM, and the spread is wide as well. We know that. It's a 30-penny spread, 20-penny spread. Sometimes it tightens up. We did break through, and we did wick into my level, but I didn't get printed. But that's just the way these spready names work. So if we come back down, we come back down. That's just kind of how it works works there. John Del Segno, what are your thoughts on Soxel? I know it's a triple lev and therefore trades very aggressively above and below the standard single levered ETFs. But man, is it really far below the norm? You're probably not wrong. John, I haven't had eyes on Soxel. That's more of like an Adera, Katina, man.
I actually do trade it sometimes.
Go, yeah. So do you want to cover what he has to say?
Yeah, I can absolutely do that.
Sure.
Quickly, just to address this, I had a SPY short. I've said I have 2 playbooks in the SPY. It's either previous price action I've watched on the book, or it's stuff I like in the tape, so just like previous book tape action or whole dollar levels. 562, like Sharif heard me sticking to 562.50 today. I was like, I'll short you. 562.50 was multi-day resistance. That was like a huge thing over the last Thursday and Friday. It really hit. So I was watching to see what we did here. Then we start rejecting 562.30s. I saw lower highs, tried to short 562, and then risking to 562.20s with the lower highs. Didn't work out. I just wanted to address that trade if anyone saw it in my blotter. It was like teeny tiny. But Soxel, I honestly, John Del Segno, that aggression to which you referred to is the reason, or to which you referred, English in there, you got this. That's why I started, or that's why I kind of stopped trading Soxel, because I would not set aggressive enough stops to address the aggression with this moves. I would be way too conservative. I'd risk like 5 cents. Which, like, why are you risking 5 cents in Soxel? What are you trying to achieve here? So I find it's one that I do trade sometimes. I appreciate Sharif for mentioning a Derek trade, but very, very rarely. However, there are levels I like on this, and it gets a half pushback, a half back. Shout out to football. But 37.60, look at that double bottom, okay? We push higher. We make a new high, we'll almost make a new high. We break slightly above that. Then we push lower, but look, okay, this level's interesting to me for 2 reasons. 1, we bounced off that 38.30s twice. 2, look who rejected off 38.30s earlier. That's right, it's Soxel. However, this is a bit of a lower high. This could still, this could still arguably be a bull flag. Like, look at that push we had off open. I'm not saying that's not what's happening. I'm saying I would like to see us push above that 38.80 area we're rejecting. This is an interesting one with me, for me here. Let's see what's going on. SoFi getting mentioned again here. Last time we looked at SoFi, it was up a cool 8.5%. And I was like, well, it's a bull flag, but like, I don't know how far to bull flag. And SoFi's laughing in my face. I said last time,
no, it isn't.
You have like 30 cents of wiggle room. I think if you measure the bull flag, they think it moved, I believe, 30 to 32 cents from the bottom to the top of the flagpole. We bounced here. The flag began to take off. We pulled up the flagpole here at 798. We are currently here almost at 820s. So we actually might get all 30 cents in the flagpole. When I said that, I was like, oh, well, I don't know if it's going to give you everything. And so I was like, what do you mean, Adera? I'm up 8.5%. Let me live. So I was like, okay, SoFi, I will let you live. What else is going on here? Oh, okay, DG. Dollar General. I was calling it Dollar Corporal to Sharif today. I was like, dollar, like this thing is not a general. I could not get filled on DG. I'm still interested in it as a long if it can give me higher highs, higher lows. Yes, I know, logging a stock that is down 28%, that's what got me killed last week with Snow, and kill is not an exaggeration. Like, girl, what are you doing? But to me, this Dollar General setup way cleaner than what I was getting long in with Snowflake. I was also a bit tilted when I was in the Snowflake long. I do not feel tilted, Sharif. I do not feel at all askew. All I'm askewed by is my faith in these markets.
Who's claiming you're tilted?
I was just saying I was last time. That's what I was saying.
Gotcha.
I believe I was last week.
Okay.
Or on Snow. But look at this Dollar General $89 reject. That is interesting to me. I don't want to shout out Taylor Swift, but that's the only person I can think of with the 1989 association. So pretend I didn't say that. But
you make the same face that I make when I look at Trenda.
Right? Yeah, I mean, I think I might dislike her more than you dislike Trenda. Actually, okay, I disagree. But can we look in amazement in the moves on WTO, says Havana Woody. Let's take a look at that one. Thank you very much for your $2 super chat, Havana Woody. WTO, I know nothing about this stock. I will have to look into have you heard of WTO?
World Trade Organization?
Oh.
I didn't know they traded.
WTO. Oh, they're a penny stock.
Seriously? What? Neil said it went to like 30.
Oh, no, this is U-Time. This is U-Time. This one's called U-Time. So this is on the NASDAQ. It was down 93% yesterday here. Apparently, they announced a non-disclosure agreement to acquire Bowen Therapeutics Lab at University of Massachusetts Medical School. I'm not a huge penny stock analyst. Oh. Yuck.
Rebram just came, took Trenda, and put this banana peel here. Like, I don't know, is this, are you insinuating something
first
here?
we had like Obi wearing like a hoodie and shades trying to steal Trenda. Now
What'd I do, Ram Ram?
Trenda's being joined by Bear and Bull Squad. They're protecting her. Ramin, are they trying to protect her? Is that what's happening here? They're looking out for her. That's what I figured. But yeah, just to finish the super chat analysis here. Look at that set. I'm not a penny stock person. Like I to be clear, look at that with my read, but this to me looks like a V-shaped recovery. Look at that support we're holding here at the 7-cent level. I like that 7-cent level of support on WTO. Let's see if we had anything. Okay, yeah, this is hard to read just given how much we sold. Look at that. 0.084 area. I think if we can eclipse that, that'd be interesting, but it's worth noting we do have lower highs here, even after that gross sell-off. If we hold 7-cent support, not a bad look for me, but again, not a huge penny stock analyst. Trying to do my best here just based on what I see with chart patterns, which is a gorgeous V-shaped recovery. Shout out to you, Havana Woody.
Havana Woody. I want to shout out, yeah, okay, so it was Havana Woody, my bad. It was the super chat there. All right, we took $1 right now on CRM, and I'm waiting. I'm going to look to take $2. I'd like $2 over here. Now my next beak wetter setting up at 26188. Shout out to all my Asians out there. I'm putting it at 88 because 88's a lucky number, baby. That's just the way it is. So I'm sitting at 26188, looking for that next print. I got the print at 261. We're long 260.10. We'll see if we can weasel our way there. But I got to tell you, the seller at 261 has been, yeah, it's been a robust seller. Let's put it that way. It was robust initially because it tanked it all the way down to 258.5, and it's acting that way right now because we are unable to take this level decisively. Yeah, you know from when? Since this time over here, and that time was 10 a.m. So we're having trouble with it. The only thing keeping me in this trade and ambitious about where it could go is the succession of higher lows, which we know if you know, obviously it's buyers stacking up incrementally higher and higher on every higher trough. Okay, here we go back above again. Can we close this time above the $0.25? We whiffle and waffled at the $0.25 before. Now we're at the fifth of a dollar, 261 to fifth. I'm waiting at 261.88. The bid is now above 261, but anemic by 4 pennies, and down it goes again. So the seller in and around 261 on Salesforce is still intact, and they still got more, you know, things in the chamber. I don't want to use anything to avoid, to annoy the algorithm, but there it is. It comes back right below 261 again. So I'm packing my patience over here. I think it might be a good trade, but we're gonna have to wait a little bit. Now, while we're waiting, let's talk about Apple, because this is exactly what I thought Apple would do. Here it is at this area. Now, this is an important area. This 231.5, I submit to you, is important because we spent a lot of time and there was a lot of volume that took place right at this area. Look at this. From 9:45 till 10 o'clock, 4 5-minute candles, all of which close at almost the exact same price, and that price is 231 between 50 and 60. We're talking about a $200 name. 10 cents means very little. It is finding some support now, so this might be the move on Apple. We already saw the rounded top come in, which is fine. I was looking initially at the volume weighted average price, 231.25. But then, you know, we start holding up in here and you start asking yourself questions. Well, why are we holding up here? And here it is. So there's a lot of interactions right now between this 231.5, 231 and 2/3 and Apple. You don't have to be first to the party, okay? You already have a 232.9, essentially a 233 high a day. Assume you get halfway up, and that's a decent winner right now on Apple. So I'm not going to jump into this one super quick, but I am definitely interested on AAPL on the day. Obviously, you know, it's got a bit of a tailwind today with that whole Citigroup thing, this, that, and the other, adding it to one of their favorite AI ideas.
Their favorite AI.
Oh, if their favorite. Thank you. Sorry, Adara.
That's shocking.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm not gonna.
I just mean because over.
I just don't want to talk up my own book. That's all I'm really trying to do here. I'm trying to avoid doing that.
I was just like, wow.
Yeah. And that's the situation. And again, you know, for the newer viewers that may not know, that's my biggest position far and away. Okay, in my long-term portfolio, AAPL. So we obviously want it to do well, but I don't want to be biased here and give people a different look. So anyway, back to CRM, waiting on this one now. The Zon. The Zon's curling up. So it had a bit of a wiffle waffle moment over here where it put in umpteen amount of doji candles, but those doji candles had a discernible trend in the fact that they all put in higher lows, and now we're starting to put in higher highs. We're working our way back into 174. We know for certain that the high of the day is at that 174.25. Good look for the Zon over here, working its way back into highs. 1.8, nothing to look bad upon. No headline specifically for Amazon, but obviously they are one of the hyperscalers that's buying these hoppers and in the future the Blackwells hand over dang fist. But as Jensen made very clear on the call to the in an annoyed way with the reporter who was basically saying, you know, most of your revenues from a few players, what happens when those few players stop buying? He's like, bruh, we're a lot more diversified than you know. So don't come at me with your insinuations when you don't have all the information. And so basically Jensen's trying to say that the other people that are buying hand over fist and not just these hyperscalers. Here comes Amazon into 174. Good look for the Zon here. There's some strength coming into this name. It's up 1.85. I know for certain 174.25. We could well, I don't know for certain. We could have some interactions with sellers around there, but we got to break through Adara 174 first. All right, back to CRM over here. We're continuing to have trouble with 261. I'm unsurprised. I'm not going to get out of this trade. We're still putting in higher lows. There's no reason for me to get out. The area where I get out is the area where I got in, because this is the low. This is the low. Okay, so trough, 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 and then wherever we trough here, we'll see. If it's below 261, then I get out. If it's not, then I print at 261.88. There.
CRM is a bamboozler. I want to shout you out for sticking with that, because that you got to pack your patience. That's one thing I'm definitely learning there. I am short Tesla 211. I will talk about just shy of 211. Much smaller position. Well, not. It's pretty small. I'll get into that, though, after I get into Boeing. Soup was mentioning Boeing. I couldn't find any news on this, but Boeing, nice little volume spikes. Nice bounce here off that 172.80 area. I like that we also came here to the 173.35s, and then we had a little bit of consolidation there earlier. Look at that big bounce there. I like this look on Boeing, though I am not sure if I'd be going to trade it, nor would I be going on a Boeing plane. No, I'm joking. If it's a plane, I'll get on it if I have to travel. Tesla. Why did I get short Tesla here? Why is this a decision you made, Adara? That's a very valid question, because initially I was looking long to 11, but then I watched the book longer. I really liked, this actually looks very bullish in retrospect. I really liked, though, that 210.70. You guys know I like that level. Tried to go long. Got wicked out, or not even wicked out. We had a little bit of a fake out breakdown. Then we come here, bounce off 210.20s, and we have like a gorgeous more than $1 move from that level. So sometimes your timing's wrong. The idea is okay. It all works out. Got to get back on the saddle if the saddle sets up. And this saddler, the Cybertruck, was like, hey, Adara. Like I said, I have a Tesla book up at all times. In case you don't believe me, here it is. I literally is always there. I'm watching it forever, always trying to see what it's doing. By the way, we might get stopped out of Tesla if it breaks above 211.
Go, baby.
Go CRM, though.
And Apple. I'm in Apple, yeah.
Go Apple. Shout out to that, Sharif. Let me know if you want to talk about that. Just start screaming. Let me know. Tesla, though, why I like the 211 short is because after watching us get all the way down to 210.50, another level I liked, and get all the way back up, we could not hold 211. We were so flimsy. We were like, 211, I'm supposed to do that? That being said, I don't love the bounce at 210.85. That is not something I like. That was another level I liked earlier on Tesla. So 210.85 bounce has me a little skeptical. I don't want to take out profit there, though, because that is going to be less than a one-to-one risk to reward. I'm risking 20 cents. I don't, okay, but Tesla's like, oh, Terry, you want money? I could maybe give you that. Like, cool. We're going to take 30 pennies out here for a third of the position. Should we get to 70s again? 70s is the level I like. This is the type of trading I like doing. Getting involved based on what I see in the book. Having confluence with the chart. Having confluence with levels. And stocks that make you say, oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. Speaking of, I don't know why I use that for Tesla, but speaking of, oh, boy, shout out to Obi there. Who I'm sure is killing it there in the back. Look at, oh my, Amazon. I pulled this up because look, Amazon's giving me feel strafe. I apologize for that noise, everybody. Look at that. We get resistance twice here. Then we get support. This resistance support flip at 173.40. Why was I not trying to get express delivered here in this Amazon? What is happening? Look at that this rejection here of 174. 20s. For Amazon, this is quite the range, Sharif. Look at Amazon Express delivering those longs some moolah. Let's see what I get here, though, on Tesla. We are hopeful, we are pleased as punch, and we want to hear about your Apple trade, because that is a beautiful green candle I see on my side chart in AAPL.
We were yapping about it. I told ya this 231 and a third, or 2/3, 231 and a half was an obvious area. I waited, as my friend Neil likes to say, getting it on the back end, get it to prove to you, yes, I'm going to bounce off this area instead of just being like, oh, I like this area. No. So I punched in. Thank you. What's his name? Gorev. Apple putting in a hammer candle on the 5. Previous resistance for morning. Gorev, literally word for word what I was saying. Shout out to you, my man. We think alike. Punched long in 231.70. Wet my beak there. 232.10. 40 pennies. Quick as you like on this trade. Very happy with it. Now we've got to manage this one. And I'm unhappy with the fact that we did reject 261. I'm happy that I was able to wet my beak a couple of times, but I'm still holding a piece. And let me tell you the truth, I've moved up my stop, okay? So now that we've whiffled and waffled in this way, and I'm worried that we put in a 260 bottom break there. And so I've moved up the stop from where it was previously. Now we're gonna look to get out of this trade entirely if there is a breach of that 260 $10 level. I will not be taking this one down there, and I will not be DCAing. This was the DCA, and I said to myself, this is a 260 area where we obviously had support, resistance earlier. Are you going to use 260 as support? You had it as resistance here. It's the $10 level. Do you want to base anything off it? I did, and I was rewarded. So I'm happy with that. Doesn't mean it's going to work again, right? So we'll keep an eye. If we get a lower low, through 260, then I'm out. But if we get that continuity, then I'm happy. We'll find out exactly what happens when we do get back from Neil's lesson of the day.
Hey-o, lesson of the day here. And this time, there's a saying on the show. It's like, don't let a stock off the hook. I like I usually say something like, stick to it, or, join the trend, follow the trend, like whatever your sauce is, whatever your flavor is, however you want to describe it, it's all talking about the same thing. That is, if something is working, let it work, but also don't stop trading it. Now everybody's got to be, not everybody's going to have direct market access or be trading in and out multiple times, and I understand that. Some of you might be on PDT and you're making 1 or 2 trades a day. Maybe you're making 1 trade a day and you're not going to have multiple entries and exits. I get that. This is about when a stock is following your pattern or what you're looking for, making sure that you try to stick with it and knowing when to get away from something. So I'm going to give you the first one here. I want to talk about getting away from something where it was the right decision, and that's going to be AMD. Now, for multiple days here on AMD, look, it's been trending down. Obviously, anybody can see that this is trending down since making some fresh highs. Recently, when it loses this 50, 200 period, all that stuff, it's essentially just heading into the downside, right? So the last couple of days, we've been looking short on AMD, short at VWAP, short it when it fails breakouts. Pretty much every opportunity we're looking to go short. So in the morning, we break out the top, makes that high, now pulls back in. So it's confirming the false break and the lower high. So we short it once, kind of breaks out that lower high here, so we end up getting only VWAP. Then it loses VWAP, we're shorted again. Now, there could have been one more trade in here. But what happened in this moment is, I can quickly show you, like NVIDIA has kind of been like the leader of the pack just in terms of what you're looking for. Like this is about 1036 here, where you have this pullback off VWAP. And in that moment, I'm going to show you like NVIDIA was down in here, pulling out, doing a similar thing. Like it was following it, but it pushed with about 5 or 6 green candles in a row after wicking the bottom at 120. So 120 was that big support level on NVIDIA, and now it's trending back into the upside and trying to consolidate. And in the moment that NVIDIA is finding that bottom and key support, AMD was at VWAP a little bit stronger and felt like that's not the right place to get it. The other reason that I didn't necessarily love the reload is, well, look how it turned at 147. Like there's your consolidation zone right in here in the afternoon. It liquidity grabbed that right into the breakout price. So the previous breakout, which was resistance in the pre-market, it wicks this, liquidity grabs under 147. holds that, and then comes back higher. That's a bit of a reversal candle. You can put it up on a 15-minute. You'll see it's a bit of a reversal candle. And that's not a spot that I want to get back in. Now, if this continues trend, holds VWAP there, and then goes lower, lower highs, lower lows, then you can jump right back into it. But it doesn't. AMD continues higher, NVIDIA continues higher, so you get away from something like that because the trend that you're looking to join and stick with was gone. And there's no reason to still be in it. So you got to be able to get away from something. Just because it happened to be working doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work forever. I think that's an important thing to keep in mind. Like a stock can work for 20 minutes, an hour, the entire day, but you've got to be able to get away from it when the day comes that it's going to be strong. And the day came that AMD was going to be relatively strong. So there's that one. And then there's something about, you can always have the intention of sticking with something, and it's never always as easy as you think. So a firm here, the intention was to stick with a firm. I'm going to show you, okay, obviously didn't stick with it. And I'm going to give you what happened yesterday and how it should have gone. And unfortunately, we used to have it in our system where our trades from yesterday would actually show up. I can still show you the triangles on the chart for the Chewy trade. But it's a similar principle. Chewy broke out, held VWAP, broke local high, was dip into the previous local high. So on Chewy, was long this 28, was long this dip, was long this dip, and then held it. So it didn't trade it after it held this dip and made the high into 30. But as long as it was in that early upward trend, we were able to catch it multiple times. And that's sort of what we were going for here on a firm. Only a firm made it a little bit more challenging. The reason why it's more challenging on a firm is it did initially look like it was going to fall apart. So it broke out local high at 40, failed that to come into 39 where it bounced VWAP. That pulled it back into 40. And this is where it lost VWAP, went into the prior support. So we liked it back into this level in the aftermarket and the pre-market lows. It bounces off that long back into VWAP where it's still in a bit of a downward trend. It broke that trend to the upside. And this is your shot right in here to be long. And it's that one time that you're not on the stock, you're not on the level 2. That's all it takes. Like that was your shot to get back in. There were some possible levels around 41, but I think in terms of plan, like it broke that slight downward trend it was in with this consolidation. So when you talk about sticking with something, be willing to get away from it when it was invalid. Like those are lower highs, so you got to get away from this to be able to go long there and not just kind of hope that it's going to bounce and hold it $1.50 against you or something like that. So that was the right decision, but it broke that trend in a big way to the upside. And you can see what happens when it does break that slight trend that was in. So there it is. It's very steep. It's steep here as well. Like if you're drawing it like that, it's steep in both ways. And then when it breaks it out, that's your shot off of VWAP. You're probably long. You can get good prices. You could have been long here, $39.65 or so, maybe in the 50 range, and it goes all the way to $42. So it's not about just continuously trading a stock just because you happen to be up on it. It has to be part of a plan. But if the trend is unbroken or the trend reconfirmed, you want to stick with it. So I think it was a good job sticking with it yesterday on Chewy. I think it was a good job getting away from AMD when it turned too bullish. But it was a poor job for myself today getting away from a firm which should have been much, much better than it was. It was a lot of opportunity in a firm. It's up 35%. You got to be able to stick with one like this. So that's what we mean when we say stick with the trend, stick with the stock, don't let it off the hook. Whatever way you want to call it, as long as your trades are valid, as long as your trend is valid, you want to find ways back into it. That could be holding on to the win. It could be re-entering it if you have the chance to take multiple shots. So there's your very simple lesson of the day. When we say don't let it off the hook, that's what we mean.
Thank you very much, Neil.
Thank you, Neil.
But to say it, that's that Neilage, baby. Every day around that noon hour, Neil does drop hot lines. So if you like what you just heard, join us every noon hour on the midday show. Go Salesforce. Here we go with the $50 Adara, and we're going to take it over here. Very happy with this trade. That's $1.50 right there. What's that? Oh, Yeah, I'm happy with this trade here. I had to wait for a long time. So there it goes. Now I probably paper-handed this because it's going to go to 262, but I had to wait for a long time. And there it goes. I knew I paper-handed it. That's all right. We'll figure out something else. We're not going to let this one off the hook because it's on the way up. Shout out to Neil. Thank you again for that great lesson of the day. Derek, hit it.
Yeah, this part of the show is brought to you by Moomoo. Are you looking to maximize your idle cash? Because you can earn 8.1% in idle funds for up to 3 months. Plus, U.S. users can take advantage of up to 15 free stocks and $300 in cash rewards. Hey, Canada! That was kind of aggressive. You're not left out. Enjoy 6% on cash balances, along with an up to $2,000 commission rebate. Sign up with Moomoo to trade on extended trading hours. You can trade 4 a.m. to 8 p.m. well beyond regular market hours. And whether you want to react to pre-market news, catch after-hours earnings, or simply manage your portfolio with more flexibility, Moomoo has you covered. Maximize your trading potential and stay ahead of the curve with extended trading hours today. For more details and the full terms and conditions, scan the QR code and click the link in the description. Thanks to Moomoo for sponsoring this portion of the ad. And shout out to Sharif for his awesome trade. I am very
appreciate you,
punch for you. I am in a trade right now. I have some feels about said trade. Basically, I don't even have feels. I don't have emotional trading. You guys know, I had two, you could see. I had 2 Tesla trades that would have worked out had I not been stopped out where I was stopped out. So I'm giving Tesla 30 cents here. I don't usually give stocks that much, but I'm trying to make minimum 70 cents. I'm trying to get to that 212.20s, so I'm willing to risk a little bit more. Basically, my thinking is, I was in that Tesla short. I saw that push above 212.20 or 211.20. I liked it as resistance. The way we hit above it, it was beautiful. We haven't been back since. So if we get anywhere near 212.20 or 211.20, I am getting out of the trade. That being said, I'll feel more confident in the trade if we stay above 211.30, which since I've been in, we have. So I'm using 211.30 as my start getting stressed out area. Once we strike right below that, that's when you have to get out of the trade. Also, I'm going to add here, look at all these little wickety friends here at the 211.80s. If we break above 211.80s, I'm adding to this position. I've already had 3 L's on Tesla, so it's TSLA for me.
Oh!
We can turn one of them into a W, because all you need, Sharif, is a trade you believe in.
Agreed.
A trade that makes sense to you. That's why I had the P&L, because you know what we want to be focusing on? Progress.
And learning.
And watching Tesla cycle between these 20 pennies. For an extended period. Also, I don't know why I brought my food over here, because now I just want to smell food, and it smells good, and I'm like, Darren, why did you do this? And now I've tortured Sharif.
There's a lot of food on that side right there. Can we
It's
get
so
the
much
shot
food.
of that?
Yeah.
Are we able to?
I got chicken, and I have mac and cheese, and I also have the world's largest salad. And I'm very excited about this.
And a plethora of dippings. I like that.
So many dippings. I'm very excited. Also, as I continue to watch Tesla, I was going to say language, it's not language, it's just chilling.
Oh.
DG. I said I have no faith in my abilities with these this type of thing, SSR stocks, but I have levels I like on DG. I said if that 89 drops, and look what 89 did. We didn't even get there. I missed that trade. But where's the next trade? As Obi says, and as we all say here, if we keep rejecting this 88-ish area, shout out to that lucky number there, I would like to get short 87.90s. Tesla starting to get a little bit, maybe a bit of a mess. Also, that reminds me, I don't know why that reminds me. We do have an auction, guys.
Oh.
That is worthy of discussion.
Good call.
The auction is coming. Oh,
Let
excuse me.
that out.
Thank you.
There you go.
Sorry for that, guys. At 1 p.m., we have an auction. It is the 7-year
Bang.
high yield and bid to cover. So shout out to the 7-year note auction. Also, I see some people voting. So if you want to do more of that, get in that chat. Exclamation point join. Space. Dollar sign. And that ticker, Tesla. Yeah, okay, I had to be done. Oh my gosh, now I can't even get out of Tesla. Tesla, why won't you let me out of this? Oh, it's because I think I forgot what side I was trading on. Yeah, the tire trading hit, apparently, because I, once again, tried to use the wrong direction to get out of a trade. We were out, though. I got out at 21, so I did. 21s did do something for me. I did get out where I wanted to, but I should have had way better eyes on that. I got distracted by DG, and the conviction was there. Should it have been there? We'll never know. I mean, maybe we will. How are you doing?
I'm feeling not as bad about having taken out that position on CRM there because it dropped aggressively there. So you're always going to be mad as a trader. You're never going to have enough shares, never going to have the bottom, never going to have the top. And if you do, it might be transient. You make another higher later or another low later. You're always angry. So I'm just kind of used to that by now. Anyway, so we're moving on from this one. And if it sets up in a way that I like, now here's the thing. Why were we in this one to begin with? Because it was putting in successively higher lows, weaseling into that 261, unable to take it. The higher lows are still in play. we haven't put in lower lows, whether you're looking at whatever time frame you're looking at. And, you know, a quick drawing of a trend line there kind of shows that pretty simply. So we are not done with this trade. Now, what we do need to consider is the fact that we've retraced into the volume weighted average price. That could change the move. So if we get into VWAP and big money's net negative on this one or wants to sell on the day, keep in mind, right, that big money traders that work for hedge funds, sovereign wealth funds, pension funds, whatever fund you want, they're judged on their price with how they did buying or selling a stock on the day with where the volume weighted average price is at 4 o'clock. Okay, so if we weasel up into VWAP and big money's net short or wants to liquidate this position, we could see VWAP act as a bit of a top. So let's keep an eye on the volume weighted average price. We already know it's featured on the day. I'm talking about VWAP. And basically, essentially, after putting in that high at 215, almost 214.89, we broke down below VWAP at 10.05, and we haven't been up there since. And every successive move into the volume weighted average price was rejected, and that pattern continues into the afternoon starting from 12.05 because we're still doing that same thing. The only thing that's different this time around is we're not putting, I'm looking at Tesla, bro. I'll get it right because it was the same look. It was the same look. It's the same look. Oh my goodness. They are looking, they both hockey stick patterns. Okay. So the volume weighted average price, 262 and a third. And that's what I'm looking for there. So if we work into 262, we know that, or and a half, 262 and a half, we might be met with a wall or selling there. So we'll keep an eye on CRM. Still very interested in trading this some way, somehow. All right, let's load up. Oh, yeah, we were talking about Amazon here. Amazon's setting up nice on the chart. Okay, so we've got a flat top working over here. We got it at 174 and a third to that quarter. So you can see all these three attempts at that high of day, all in the same look. But what's operative here is the higher lows and the respect for the 20 exponential on the 5. And you had a hammer candle right there that comes in right into that 173.75, which is the 20 exponential, moves right back up into 174. So this could be interesting here. We could be working our way up incrementally for that flat top break at 179 and a quarter. Sorry, 174 and a quarter, 174 and a third, in and around that area. Amazon's strong. 1.88 in the clear today. Shout out to Big Spile. He just sent me 3 photos of little job that, well, not little, a job that he's at. We know that he's a metal artisan, and he just put up their railing. So shout out to Big Spile. Even when he's not with us in the chat, he's somehow with us as well. So shout out to him. Hope he's doing well and enjoying the last final days of summer, Big Spile, because, Labor Day's on Monday. The unofficial end of summer. All right, so we'll keep an eye on these Mag 7 names. We haven't even had a look at the futures. I was so busy with CRM and Apple that I didn't notice that we have almost a quadruple top now at 19.7 on the NQ September contract. Initial touch, the IB high, shout out to Dan, the dang man Emmons, 19.684 touch. Then 10.50, 19.694 touch. Then 10 or 11.15, 19.678 touch. And right there, 19.6, where does this go? 19.688. So we're accumulating around that 19.7 again with higher lows. This looks awfully bull flaggish that we're going to get a flat top break through 19.7. At least that's how it feels for now. That could change if the price action changes, but this looks awfully strong on the market. The NQ's up 1 1/4. What are the other indexes up? So the ES obviously lagging a little bit behind because it's really a tech day. 0.86 for the ES, 1 1/4 for the NQ, 1.08 for the Dow, and the RUS. The rotation trade still in effect, 1.27 for the RUS and 1.27 for the NQ, so they're equal today in strength and in greenery. So we'll keep an eye on both these. NVIDIA's been dead money, guys. Obviously, the Katina Man had a $1,500 winner on it this morning, but the point is, right now, it's become awfully tight. Okay, the range has really tightened up essentially since 11:20. We're going on the better part of an hour now, where the top is the volume weighted average price, give and take at around $122, and the low 121. That is compressing a bit though, and it has been compressing since the IB high and IB low. We've been putting in lower highs, but we've been also putting in higher lows. Unsure how this resolves. Don't really want to be involved with NVIDIA today. We'll wait until the big money decides what they want to do with this and a discernible trend starts to appear, and then we'll start trading it. That might not be today, though, Adair.
I feel like I'm kind of stepping on your toes here because I'm very tempted to trade your boy Krim.
Kill it.
I really like this as a short, and I'm hesitant to say I like it as a short because as Sharif just showed us with his awesome $1.50 winning there in CIRM, if this thing pops, it's going to pop, right? If it's up, then it's up, then it's up, then it's up, and then I'm down because I'm in the... Pretend that made sense.
And it's up, and
it's up, and it's up.
We've done that a lot today.
Yeah, sure.
And I don't
do
care.
that I think now multiple times a week. But so I think this is proving my short thesis wrong. But I liked here we broke that 260 level. I said if we see anything cool in the book, I like that 260.30 as an area to go short. Then you risk it into 260.80s. It's kind of wicks over there. My mind on that has changed since I've started talking, and it's kind of proven that might not be the vibe. But you know what other earnings play I have eyes on?
What?
It is CrowdStrike is one of them. I'm still watching Crowd, but Dollar General. And it's funny because every level I have called on this has hit in some way, but I have not traded any of them how I wanted to. And I want to talk about this.
Oh.
So I talked about, let's see what it does at 89. Why weren't you shorting 89 then, Adara? Why wasn't that happening? Well, you know what happened if I had? You would have gotten $2. Girl, where is your life? So, story of my memoir. But now I want to see what DG does at 88s. Why do I want to see what it does at 88s? Look at this rejection of 88s with this hard support. Look where we're flipping from support to resistance. That's right. Shelf, 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 shelf. Resistance here, 87.75s. Shelf, 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 shelf. Support, 87.75s. You know what I call that? I call that confluence.
Okay.
I call that I'm getting long at 88s and I'm risking into 87, the level I just told you guys. 87.0, that level. We're going to do that. That's what we're doing, Sharif. We're starting with a small position for tired trade-related. No, I'm joking. I'm also just starting with a smaller position because I want to build into it. And since I said it, we already tanked. Hi, Fabian. How are you doing?
Hi.
He's just saying hi. That's so sweet. The voice he said it to, he's like, hey, guys. I was like, what are we doing wrong? And he's like,
This is also
hi.
a great opportunity.
Hi, Fabian. Hi, Ramin. Hi, everybody in the chat. Let us know in this market.
No, you don't, Fabian. Wow.
Oh my gosh, Fabian can now project his voice
I like
to all
it.
of you guys. You can all hear the Chilean nightmare, Sharif calls him. But yeah, as I started talking, DG broke that level. If you guys will have any tickers you want to look at, you want to say, hey, I'm going to be confident in my trade. Let Sean know, let Neil know. Get in that chat, exclamation point, join space, $ ticker. Sharif, would you believe it that this is now my
What?
third call on Tesla that was right that I got wicked out of?
I'm sorry, Adaro.
I mean, I'm not upset. I'm just like...
Your first trade, I already made myself very clear
No,
on
I
that. You had
appreciate
a
that.
banger on
Thank
that
you.
one. Yeah.
It's just, I think I need to set the stops a bit more. I need to give myself more room because we're talking about the cyber beast,
We are.
right? So I need to remember, hey, Darren, you're talking about the cyber beast. Risk to reward. You can make money on those Tesla trades. I know I usually scalp Tesla, but none of these trades were planned to scalp. So why am I not giving myself some room? That being said, another level in Tesla, I did mention earlier, you may have heard me, 211.80. If we bounce there, I do like the look of that, and I do would like to take it long to 212.20. That being said, how many losers on Tesla can one psyche handle? I'm not sure. No, I'm kind of joking. If I see the trade, I like the trade. Neil said, too, you can take a couple hits as long as the winners outnumber the hits. And sometimes, like, you know, Neil and Obi have talked about this as well. Sometimes having the losing trade makes you even more prepared when you got that winner. CrowdStrike at one of my favorite levels, 278. I haven't gotten long this yet because the book is not giving me a lot of confidence in either direction. I should have gotten long when I saw the 277 area. That's my bad. And I'm not rushing into a trade here. If that 278 does something I like on the book, I'm deeply tempted to take a significantly smaller position here as a long than I did on that short. Don't risk more. Move your entry, says MRN Racer. I appreciate that. I think that's my issue is I don't know where to enter them, right? If you see level you like on the entry, I like all my entry levels, right? So then it's like, I guess I'm gonna have to figure out how to do that. I appreciate your comments there, because the thing is, it's like if the entry's the problem, that's always the harder issue. I have levels I like. I need to be more confident, committed to them. Crowd giving me lots of confidence in this 278.
Oh, that's a nice look,
I'm
Adara.
going long, crowd 278. We're going in again. We're going to do slightly more shares than I said I was initially going to do in the second attempt, but I do like this look. We're going to 278. Let's try 05s. We're going to risk here into 277 40s, which is a level I liked in the book. And I want to be taking, if we get above 279 decisively, I'll add. I'm okay risking because you know what? If you like your trade, you trust your trade, you trade. We'll pretend that was English.
I want to also, I haven't done, no, that was my CRM trade earlier.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I haven't done anything with it yet.
I
I want to mention what Neil says as well, to build on what you say. Neil's always saying, it's okay to be wrong, it's not okay to stay wrong. And right, and the reason I want to say that, yeah, shut up, is because, quite frankly, if you're going to keep DCAing into it, you know, we've talked about this before. Not everything has to be planned out, but like it's got to jive. Like, and if I kept DCAing into this 260 level on Salesforce over here, look at it. Now it's breaking down. And so I'm happy I was able to get out of this guy's chart because this one now is actually printing below that 260 level for the first time since 11:30. So that's been a better part of an hour. Now it's a failed break through 261. Let's call it that, even though it weaseled into 261 and a quarter, because now it's given up the ghost at this level. So we are putting in now lower lows on CRM. That had not been the case until this little trough right here. We tried to get back above 261, and the seller there was like, nah, you don't. So here we go. Now this could be a short possibly on CRM. Let's bring in the 5-minute look. Looks a little bit less convoluted over here. So we're breaking down below the 10. Let's see. Let's update. I don't know why the 20 doesn't update on here. There we go. So intersecting right now are the 10 and the 20, and it looks like they're both pointing down with this candle making a new low. So I don't have to be first to this trade, especially knowing that the low is at 256.91, essentially 257, which gives me plenty of room. And it's really coming down now. Go CrowdStrike, or not CrowdStrike, it's Salesforce. It's because Salesforce's ticker is Client Relations Management, right? CRM, but it has nothing to do with the name of the company.
It's a weird one, yeah. I agree.
Well, it's because it's like client relation management software. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So that's the look there. So I'm very interested on this name. And look, it's not as spready as, you know, maybe an SMCI. 20 pennies about right now, but I've seen it tighter. It's been 10 and 15 and stuff like that. So let's watch this one. I want to see if it breaks down. This could be a good short. It's not going to be a pay for shorts type situation. This is a big boy name. It's on the Dow, so good look there. All right. I want to remind you guys that the afternoon segment is nothing without you guys. So if you're not voting for your favorite tickers or the tickers that you want to see the Katina Man and the Neil cover and talk about and tell you how they traded or how they would have traded it, you're not getting your full share of the show. Anything you want to add, Katina Man? Everything good?
Just like my personal account.
The Katina Man is going into the personal account thinking he wants to take some profits on Nvidia, but he's debating it right now. He can't pull the trigger. Look, you know, yeah, obviously there's stuff to do there, but I like the position, Katina Man. So.
I'm in the purchase go through a sport check.
Oh, well, look, he's got bills to pay. Another sports check ad just came in on the credit card there. Who's buying? Is it Marissa?
Look, okay, there's some shopping I've seen. This is actually, my God. You know exactly.
Neil's like, you know who's buying.
So they're
all right.
They're at so they're just at a local mall here. So the last 4 purchases, not Starbucks, my bad. Nike, Lulu, David's Tea. They're probably grabbing some matcha or something. And then the last one was Sport Check. So like it's like a Dick's Sporting Goods, basically.
Yeah.
So it's back to school time. I actually saw a really funny meme, and it was I shared it with my wife, and it was these parents. They were like partying it up. They had the kids in the back. They've all got their Starbucks, and it said beginning of summer. Right, and they're all like, yeah, and it said bank account on the top, 24 grand. And they're all partying, and they're doing this, and they're doing that, and they're going everywhere, and then it just like flashes to another one, and it's like at the end of summer, and like right now they're walking around, they're all tired, it shows like bank account, 2 grand, and all this kind of stuff. So right now, but no, just all kidding aside, I was just thinking that Apple was one that I am more confident on getting a little bit out here. I just think that was a good upgrade from Citigroup today, trying to break a little bit higher. So I'll probably ring some registers on Apple. The last time we bought that was live on the show at 169. So we have to probably ring some registers on that one and just make sure to take profit. I haven't done that in a hot minute. But my hot garbage snowflake I see is down at these crazy lows. So, you get some good trades and you get some bad trades as well. Hence the life of a trader. Back over to the reason why you're all here. It's Sharif and Adara.
What's up? Thank you very much for that.
Us up.
That cameo, midday cameo. Adara, have you seen the winds of change come in on the Cybertruck?
I did.
This is a big boy recovery here on the Cybertruck. We're moving up here, Adair. We're coming into that lucky number 13, 213 incoming with a 214.89 high a day on TSLA. It was a great hold up here. This is the missed trade of the day right here. This obvious area, consolidation area top in the pre-market, 209 a third. It comes down exactly into that level. And yeah, you see what happened after that. It's up almost at 213. So we'll see if the good times can continue for the Cybertruck over here. Separately, nothing to do with Tesla, obviously, but it looks like as if SpaceX will be grounded by the FAA as a result of one of their rocket boosters exploding.
That has to be why Boeing's up. That makes sense why Boeing's up.
Yeah, you know what, Adair, it's okay. The FAA allows Boeing to drop planes out of the sky, get people stuck in space, can't leave the International Space Station, but Tesla or SpaceX explodes one rocket, doesn't damage any property, doesn't kill anybody, and they're grounded. Makes absolute sense. Not political at all. So that's the look there. So anyway, Tesla today, obviously not with respect to SpaceX, but I want to mention that because all these Elon Musk companies seem to be somehow priced into Tesla, even though it has nothing to do with Tesla. But that's the look there. TSLA, nice V-shaped recovery off that pre-market consolidation area top. I'll send it to you and I'll set up for the lesson.
Sorry, I got excited there because I was like, that must be why Boeing's up. But yeah, because Vicky and Novak asking the question that I feel like should be on everyone's mind that I'm not sure is, who's going to rescue those pretend that was English. Who's going to rescue those astronauts? We do not know. Maybe that's why Boeing's up here. I didn't find any news on Boeing last time I checked here. But nice. This is an upward channel, higher highs, higher lows. Series of bull flags. I would argue this is multiple bull flags sending Boeing into outer space. But also, there's another thing I wanted to look at here. Oh, yeah, CRM. I said I like the 260 short. To be fair, I didn't take it because the book got really bamboozling. I stand by not taking that, but I should have had better eyes on it to get back in if I liked it. Now, Dollar General. Okay, this might be the stock I've looked at the most that I have not put a trade on. I've had orders out a couple times. I tried to go long 88s, 8801s, right? We wick into that, and then it's like, oh, Adara, am I supposed to fill your order? No, I'm not. Gets all the way up here to 8835s, which, by the way, guys, look at that previous support resistance. Do you see it? Dollar General did. It immediately sold back off. So I think if I go long, this is only going to be a scalp. That being said, I like the short. Now that we've broken below 87.75s, I'm sure this is going to be another story of me being way too little, way too late for DG. We want to take some size here. We're risking into 88s because that is a level that DG seems to enjoy. Also, CrowdStrike, I was like 7 cents away from getting filled here. I was waiting at 278s. CrowdStrike got to 278.05s. CrowdStrike got to 278.12s. I was not chasing it. I did not want to chase it. Like I said, very proud of I'm happy with my read in the stock. I trust my read in the stock. I'm proud the first trade I had, and I don't want to undo the work I did on that, the progress that I did on that by chasing my way into this trade. Now, that being said, I like 281s or 280.20s. That was a level I had to stop previously. We can get rid of that. There were other levels I liked on CrowdStrike that I wrote down. They are 282, 282.40. I like those on the book, so I'll be watching that. 285, I wrote that there was a violent rejection, so that's the level I'm going to be looking at here as well. In terms of dip opportunities, dip buy, I like that on the chart, right? That 278.80 I do like. That was one I remember watching on the book as well. Then you risk it into 278. It's a little bit more than I want to risk, but with CrowdStrike, you're looking for multiple dollar winners, so you can risk. I think risking shy of $1 makes sense. Will Dollar General fill me? The question we're all asking. The answer, almost invariably, a heck no. So
I want to show something.
Oh,
so
did they set you
the
up
production
again?
team has been trying to prank me. And this ain't gonna prank me, guys, because I love Dua Lipa. And is this Dua Lipa over here? Yeah, that's Dua. I'm not really a fan of Ariana Grande, but I like Dua Lipa a lot. And if I could invest in a superstar to become like the next Taylor Swift, it'd be Dua. So this ain't gonna hurt me, Ram. This is good. It's not like Manchester United, where I had to like clean my computer.
She was at your desk, Sharif.
I know you were, Ram. Wow, why? Women power.
I'm down for
okay,
women power.
Ram.
I just also was down for transparency in that scenario.
You tell her, Adara. Ram's like, you're supposed to be on my
fail now?
side.
What do you mean? She's the Rare Queen, and now I'm getting failed by her.
It's all good. I think Ray Ray's just joking.
I know.
We love Ray Ray around here. All right, guys, let's talk about the Commodity Channel Index, CCI for short. We're talking about momentum oscillators all of this week, and we're going to conclude today because I'm not here tomorrow. It is the OB. He is the one. Kenobi, he'll be in for me tomorrow. I'll be at the big desk with Adair in the morning, but I will not be here on the midday. So let's talk about this one and conclude our momentum oscillator talk. So the Commodity Channel Index is a technical indicator to momentum oscillator. It measures one specific thing, the deviation of the price from its statistical mean. All right, so my quants out there are going to love this. It is often used to identify these overbought and oversold conditions, as well as try to gauge when a potential reversal might be in the works. So here's how it looks. As we typically do, we'll show you the depiction on the chart. This one has its overbought and oversold levels at plus 100 to minus 100. We've seen on the stochastics, it's 80-20. On the relative strength index, it's 70-30. With this one, it's 100 minus 100 as the levels. And the calculation is there for those who want it. We're not going to belabor it. It's not a math lesson. But here are the values as depicted in the calculation. The typical price, which is the last part or this part of the calculation, is just the high plus the low plus the close divided by 3. Simple as you like. The mean absolute deviation, which is the last part of the equation over here, just means the average absolute difference between the price and the 20-period simple moving average of that typical price, which is the first entry on there. Okay? And the formula, all you really need to know about this is it's basically derived from the concept of standard deviation. Anybody with, I guess, stats, who did stats in university or high school or whatever can know, or college actually. All right, so how do we use CCI, Commodity Channel Index, for trading? There's 3 ways we can use this. We'll talk about all 3 of them. Identifying overbought and oversold conditions. It can be used to identify potential reversal points when you're in that overbought or oversold state. It can also look to confirm trends. So you're looking for a rising CCI or a declining CCI to jive with the price. And then the opposite of that is divergence, when the price makes new highs, higher highs, for example, but the CCI makes lower highs, or the CCI makes lower lows, but the price action makes lower lows, but the CCI makes higher lows. These are what we call bullish and bearish divergence, and it signals that the winds of change may be coming on the trend in the price action, not the indicator, in the price action. So those are the 3 ways we can use the Commodity Channel Index to gauge price action. So how do we interpret it, right? So first and foremost, let's talk about the identifying overbought and oversold conditions. When the CCI reading rises above 100, it indicates that the market may be overbought, and it's suggesting to you that prices have risen a little too quickly and may be due for a correction to the downside. Oversold, the opposite of that. It's when the CCI reading reaches minus 100. It's indicating to you that we're oversold and the prices have fallen too quickly and may be due for a rebound. So the opposite of the first. Okay? And here's what it looks like when we are using it IRL. Okay? So here's the move. And I also want to point this out to you that in this, on the bottom graph, these are both CCI. The bottom one is using the 20-period CCI, but it's by no means the only period that can be used with it. Is the default standard. You're free to increase that as you like, as this person has done here. They have 2 of them. One is a 20 look, and the other is the 50 look, and they juxtapose them together to see, is it giving me the same look, or if they're not, what they're deviating from. That's beyond the scope of this lesson, but I just wanted you to know that this is a possibility using CCI. And here is kind of how it looks like when it's in an overbought state, and this is what it looks like when it's in an oversold state. And this person is using these red lines to demarcate the minus 100 and the plus 100 readings. So let's talk about gauging divergence, because it's like one of the most important methods for using with these momentum oscillators. So bullish divergence, what happens here? This occurs when the price makes a new low, but the CCI doesn't make a new low. In fact, may make a higher low or an equal level. Okay, and it's suggesting to you when that happens that the buying pressure is incrementally increasing and a potential reversal to the high side may be imminent. That's what you're looking at there. Bearish reversal, exactly the opposite. Occurs when the price makes a new high, but the commodity channel index says, makes either a lower high or an equal level of a high. And it's suggesting to you when that happens that the selling pressure is increasing incrementally and a potential reversal to the downside this time may occur. And here's what it looks like when we have bearish and bullish divergence between CCI and price. Look at price making lower lows, but the CCI is like, yeah, that's nice, and puts in higher lows. And look what happens after that. We pop. We break through that $109 level. So this is what we call bullish divergence, when the price makes lows, but the CCI makes higher lows. Conversely, this is what happens when the price makes higher highs, but the CCI makes lower highs. That is what we call bearish divergence. And here are the three methods to spot divergence. Just want to make this as clear as possible. The first step, identify a new high or a new low on the price chart. Then you look to the commodity channel index, the CCI. Check to see if the CCI has made a corresponding high or low. Has it or hasn't it? If there is a mismatch between the levels on the price and the CCI, a divergence may be occurring. It's incumbent upon you to gauge whether it's bullish or bearish, given what the price action is doing. So that's as simple as that. Those are the three steps off which to gauge price action, CCI divergence. Now let's juxtapose this, compare it to what we learned yesterday about the stochastics. I'll just give you a quick summary. Both the CCI and the stochastic oscillator are momentum oscillators that can use to identify overbought and oversold conditions. However, there are some key differences between them. The first, the focus here is different in both. CCI focuses on deviation from price from its statistical mean, whereas the stochastic oscillator focuses on the closing price relative to that high-low range from prior. Their calculation also fundamentally different. The standard calculation for CCI uses a 20-period formula, while the stochastic oscillator uses a 3-period SMA, simple moving average. And last but not least, the sensitivity of these oscillators, of these momentum oscillators, is different, and they're used for different reasons. The CCI is more sensitive to these larger price swings, whereas the stochastic oscillator is more sensitive to shorter term price swings, not in the long term. So use it with that in mind, and I hope everybody prints up a storm.
Thank you very much, Sharif. We always hope you always print up a storm. And honestly, I don't dislike this background, and I think it's really funny that Dua's on there, because as Ramin put there in the chat, hashtag Chua. I like the right side. I like the right side of the screen. I don't like the left. Right? She's very, I enjoy her energy. I enjoy her vibe. I am pro Dua. Ariana Grande has some okay songs. That'll be my take on that.
Hey.
SMCI, I'm hearing critique here. Sorry to hear about the loss on this one. Like, honestly, as someone who I've definitely lost an SMCI. I can feel you. Smiki is a bamboozler and is the president of Bamboozlement Nation. That is for sure. However, there's a level here.
Oh.
And I didn't short this. I chose my fighter. I chose CrowdStrike. I arguably chose wrong, but I said, oh my gosh, Adara, look at maybe a head and shoulders on the recovery. And then on SMCI, look at this. Look at that 457. Look where we bounce, right? We bounce 455, then we come back. Look where we reject again, 457. I saw us careening into 457. Did I go long or did I go short? No. Oh, let's see what CrowdStrike's doing. Adara, next time, don't worry about the fact that it's a SPCE. If you believe in the level, take the darn, wait for it, trade.
Get it, Adara.
Thank you. CrowdStrike, I did not get it, Adara. And CrowdStrike, though I did manage it appropriately, risk 50 cents, lost 50 cents, got long here because I really liked what we were doing in the book. I said, if I see a higher high, get involved 278.50s. As I got in, the ask got slammed down. I should have gotten out the second I saw that, but I was like, ooh, your plan. The plan, whatever, didn't work out, got out. Tesla, I don't want to trade. Oh my gosh. Oh, Tesla.
Yeah, it is.
Tesla, you're going to revert the reversion? Shout out to Obi, who will talk about this reversion section a lot. Reversion. Okay, so Tesla initial move up, right? Then we revert to the downside. Then we revert back up. Are we going to revert again? Are we going to revert the reversion? Oh, that's what that means. I've seen it in the wild. Is there
Ram sending me stuff. I love it.
Blonde Dua was not an era I was familiar with.
No, neither was I. I like brunette
her
Dua.
thing, 21.
Ooh, get it, Adara.
But yeah, Tesla, this 212.50 to 212.70 area is interesting for me. The bear in me says, oh, it's going to break below. I don't know why I keep doing that voice. 212.50, then I short it. But The realistic part of me is like Adara, this looks a bit bull flaggish. Don't be an Abera right away. See what we do here. See if we get above these kind of wicks here into that 212.70 area. Then you know what you do. You risk it into 212.50. But because you don't give your trades enough risk, you're going to actually risk it into 212.40. That's going to be the look there in Tesla. I would have shown someone in the chat who was saying my issue is like not the amount I'm risking, it's my placements. I think they both could be an issue, but I want to tackle like one at a time. You know what I mean? I think sometimes the issue is I'm getting involved in things that make sense to me with levels I like. I'm just not risking enough. And I do trade like the most bamboozling stocks, so why am I not giving them more room? That being said, if I have to choose my fighter between Tesla and SPCE, it's going to be SPCE, which is probably a really odd choice. But A, like I said, I've been cut up on Tesla. B, look at that support SPCE's forming on BWAP. Oh my gosh, Sharif. SMCI. Am I doing it? Am I doing this, Sharif?
It's up to you, Adara.
SMCI? I know. I'm talking to myself out loud. Oh my gosh, I'm going long SMCI, guys. Vote for any tickers you like. Anything you like in the chat, get involved. Let us know. I'm getting long SPCE. This is a very small position, though. There is I would add if we get above, what is this level? 459. I would like to start taking profit if we get into that area above 460s. Look at that gap on a 5-minute chart. Why are we gapping in a 5-minute chart? You know what that shows me, Sharif? Strength. I'm sorry I'm yelling. I'm just very emphatic.
That's all good.
We're going to see what we do here at 456. That'll be my risk level. With SPCE, I'm always going to really trust my read in the book as well. This book is looking bullish. I said 457 resistance. We resisted 457, and then we came right back up and bounced again. We're in this trade. We'll see how this goes. If you hear scary sounds, things could be going a little bit of, shout out to Drake who did the For All the Dogs Scary Hours edition. I don't know why he did that. This could be scary hours for me and SPCE. But you know why I'm not scared?
Why?
Because I believe in my trade. I have confidence. I have conviction. That being said, do I love that we broke above 457? Now we're using resistance in the ask? I would be lying if I said I didn't. But conviction matters. Shout out to Chung Chung. I might have to hand this off to you as I deal
do your
with
thing,
the SPCE monster here. We have an auction in 11 minutes, guys.
No worries. All right, we're gonna wish Adara the best of luck. Hope she prints up a storm.
Thank you.
On her friend SMCI. Now I'm looking at Tesla. Tesla's breaking down here, so I didn't want to be quick to get into this because we're still above the 10 exponential on the 5. I don't need to be first, okay? But I'm looking at my 5-minute chart right now, and that's what I'm talking about when I say we're breaking down the 10 exponential on the 5. So this is an interesting area, guys. Look at this area over here. It's not quite the area that we rejected after that IB high. That was 212.40. This is more like a 212.75, and this is why I wasn't quick to get in. We are now bouncing off that 212 area and the 10 exponential. And if I had gotten short, I would have been 35 pennies out of the money there. Wait for confirmation. This looks good. So here's the deal. Just because it's a V-shaped recovery doesn't mean that's the only shape we can look at. The V-shaped recovery, this part right here, by definition, is a bull flag. So if we hold up here and we break that top like a 213 top, we could easily see a move back into 215. I'm not going to be quick to this. I want to pack my patience and see what resolves. I looked over the Katina Man before he got up. I'm like, Katina Man, are we quadruple zillion topping here at 19.7? Are we going to reject 19.7 and curl back down? And he looked at me and he's like, it's really going to be what Apple does. Right? Because you can tell NVIDIA is not influential as influential as it typically is on the day because it's awfully consolidative. It's Apple that's up 2.6% and was close to highs. It's trying to hold up here, but Apple is putting in a bearish double top. And what I mean by, well, obviously double tops are bearish by definition, but what I mean to say there is the right side of the M a little bit lower than the left. Some people, they look at that. Some others don't, So what I'm looking for here is whether we give way at the 20. The 20's been holding us up, saving except for this area over here. But this area, right at 1155, jived with the consolidation area top that we had in the implied balance open, which was like 2150, 231.50, 231.60, generally that area. So I'm worried here that we double top on Apple and by extension, double top and sell off on the NQ. I know there'll be a lot of you there. They're going to be like, yo, we want blood. Chief among them, Big Spile Burdette, he wants the world to burn. I know he doesn't, obviously. We're just joking when we say that, but he likes to go short on the SPY, and there it is. So now we got a breakdown here below 19,650. It's the first time we've been this far low, below the 20 exponential on the 5 on the futures contract since 11:20. That's an hour and a half ago. Get it, Adara.
I don't know if I'm getting it. I flipped from long to short in SMCI. The long didn't work out. We broke below that VWAP. I don't think I'm getting filled, but if I do, SMCI.
Okay.
That's all I gotta say.
Fantastic. We're going to champion Adara there. So this is as deep as we've gotten below the 20 exponential on the 5s, since I said, since 1120. So are the winds of change coming right now on the future? Oh, it certainly feels that way. Look how many times we rejected this area below 19.7. How many times does that have to happen? The only thing that kept me bullish on this, and is keeping me bullish, I should say, is that we're putting in higher lows. This is the low, or the trough, off which we base our lows, and then we haven't broken it yet. We're still higher, but we've broken down below the 20. So questions to be asked, as we always do here on the midday when the volume drops off and we're unsure how the market resolves. That's kind of part and parcel of trading at around this time. But I'm seeing a lot of weakness now come in on these Mag 7 names, NVIDIA included. NVIDIA broke down below the level 120.75 that had been in play since essentially this candle over here at 10:35. That's 2 hours ago. So interesting. Now we have lower lows on NVIDIA and we have lower highs. We're bouncing off the pivot point. Not like I want to put too much stock into that level, but I feel maybe here the winds of change may be coming, at least momentarily, unless we get a bounce back up. NVIDIA heading down now 4% in the red on NVDA. Alfred messaged me. I'm going to read the Alfred messages because I want to read you guys the dialogue here between him and I. So, you know, he had good points, Adara. He's like, the market seems to be decoupled from NVIDIA now. Very interesting. Here's what I wrote. There's absolutely no reason for this company's stock to be down today. The only thing that you could even point to is the contracting gross margins from 80-something to 70-something%. I'd like to remind everybody that hardware gross margins is supposed to be 30 to 40%, and these guys are printing in the 70s. He wrote back, there was definitely going to be margin compression at some point. I'd like when a company beats expectations, but they don't beat enough, and it tanks. And I told him, same. I also like sandbagging earnings, which Jensen is known for. Sandbagging earnings, for those who don't know, is when you basically guide something that's super easy to beat, and then you destroy it. And then the market shoots right back up. When Jensen's been known to do that in the past. So I think he's like, I think when he signed, okay, well, I can't read that part. So we'll have to leave that one out there. But yeah, that's the whole point. I think NVIDIA probably rallies from this point, maybe in a couple of days or whatever it is. Anyway, it certainly not really much off the highs yesterday. If we closed out at 125 and we're only down into 120. So not a whole lot to make me feel bad about this stock in there.
Yeah, okay, so what happened here was I got long SMCI. Why did I go long at SMCI, an area that I admitted I thought was a head and shoulders? To be clear, I liked what I saw in the book, but I should have stuck with my, I was kept quoting Chance the Rapper there, second guessing your first mind. I definitely did that. Took an L on said long, but I had enough risk. To be clear, I'm a little, did well. I don't usually check my P&L, but I wanted to see if I had enough risk for this because I really believe in this trade. And there is a bit of an LFT from CrowdStrike. That's fair. We lost from the top, but if you believe in trades, you got to believe in them. Okay, if we cannot hold, I'm always willing to risk a little bit more here with SMCI. Depending what we do here is we get back into 250, 450s. If we cannot reject that area, I'm going to have to get out of this trade. But I like the short. As we broke below VWAP, should not have been able to get in the retest. Should have been way more aggressive. I knew I liked this short. Why was I not getting into the short the second I got long? That's something I need to deal with. That's something I need to, you guys know what I'm going to say, aggressively journal about. But shout out to Kyle Burdett, $5 super chat. I guess he's a little bit jealous about you and Alfred, saying,
I told him I
oh, sorry, you can read this if you want. Also, he's making, he's saying hashtag spread hunter, because you guys know I've talked sometimes about spread. It's because I trade really spready stocks. I trade my SPCEs. I trade my CrowdStrike. I try my best to make it, to, a family show, but it's the stocks I trade. I do apologize, guys. If there's another way I can word that, I will, but I really can't. Also, so I stayed in SMCI because we were rejecting that 554, 50, that thing. I actually took more size with this too than I took in the long because I feel good about this idea for now. It's not giving me much to change my mind. I always forget how big the spread is on this though. I don't love how we're trying to push the bid up higher here, but I do think if you believe in your ideas, you should try them. Also, you should be aware of when you're tired, which I think I am, which is maybe why these ideas are a little bit yikesy. Let's see what we do here. I think I need to get out of this trade, but I'm really happy there's a word I was looking for. Attempted it.
Yes.
I tried it. I still have a risk. If I want to take other trades, I'll get involved. Now, okay, Bamboozler, SMCI. Okay, if you can hold, if you break back below 554, I'll stay at this. Like I said, with the SPCEs, I will be a lot more receptive based on what I see on that thing, the order book. I trust by reading the order book. I know I'm being a little bit, I guess, more loosey-goosey here, but I think with some of these stocks, again, you have to trust your read, trust yourself, drink your Starbucks from this morning. Apologize for the noise there, guys. And stick with your trade if it makes sense to do so. That push up there on the bid is not the vibe we're going to get out. Like I said, I want to see what we did it for 54.50. So that's where we get out. And that's, you know what that is? That's following your plan. That's confidence. That's conviction. I have no qualms, guys. I'm qualmless. Also, that thing, the auction, 2 minutes, auction.
Yes. It's a 7-year. I personally haven't covered the 7-year all that much, Adara, personally. So I don't have a whole lot to say about that. It's neither like a shorter or a longer dated. So I don't have too much information to say. But I'm interested in Tesla here. So here we go. Apple got back up off the 20. It defended 232. Now it's back up into that 232.5. I'm looking at Tesla because it also held up at the 10 exponential on the 5. I want to wait for the first 5-minute candle to make a new high. That takes us to 212 and a third. I will get long if it breaks 212.40. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to go 212 and we're going to go 41 over here, and we're going to look to get long. And we got to give it a little bit of room because sometimes Tesla, you know, it's annoying. It doesn't give you the entry. The reason I'm putting an order there for that level, I need proof that it's going to curl back up and it's not a dead cat bounce with a lower high, and then we continue to break down below 212. There is a bit of a double bottom below the 10 exponential, but if this candle makes a new high, I like it, and that new high comes in 212, above 212.40. Doesn't trigger, then we don't get involved in the entry. Scrub asked a really good question. I want to read out his question because it makes eminent sense. Does margin compression even matter when we are talking about the kind of numbers that NVIDIA is and will be bringing in considering the demand for their chips, LMAO, right? So I wrote back, I'm like, Scrub, I think it matters for valuations because if you're valuing a company with X percentage margins and it changes to Y, so from like 80 down to 70, then your valuations have to change, right? And so he writes back, that's fair, but I don't think it warranted a red day for today. I don't think it warranted a red day for either. So you and I on that same look, but you've got to assume some people are ringing the profit bell here, and that's kind of my assessment. You know, there's all the other issues, right? We got the hyperscalers being like apparently one of the biggest, well, the only people buying that. Jensen refuted that yesterday. We also have issues with demand. How long does demand or this kind of demand remain in play for their chips given the price? And once you build out, right, I mean, you can't imagine these hyperscalers are going to be buying these GPUs, 500,000 of them every year because NVIDIA is going to be dropping a new GPU every year, a new AI GPU. You have to assume every year, just like the iPhone gets dropped every year. So are we going to be, is Amazon going to be buying these for $300,000 units at a time every year? I don't know. I have my suspicions about that. I think once you build out and you have a base infrastructure, then you can upgrade incrementally, not with the same aggression. So there's that as well, right? And so we may see, you know, the slowing down of growth. And if you see the slowing down of growth, well, just look at previous guys. Shout out to Jay Lee. Also, remember, sell the news is a meme for the reason. Absolutely right, Jay, spitting facts, no question about that. I happen to agree with that a lot. Carlos Franco, what do you think about GME? You read my mind, man, because it's moving. Look at this thing. It's up 9% on the day. Another beautiful double bottom at 21.45. If you had proof that it was holding up here, then you got proof again. Neckline break at 21.55. Now we're knocking the door of the $0.75. We've been up there before. Let's see if we get a top break. This is a good look here for GME. I personally didn't see any news about it. Let me double check quickly to make sure nothing came in. Oh, there is. Oh, here it is. GameStop shares are trading higher. The company issued a notice of termination to its $250 million credit facility. Okay. So are they paying that back or are they defaulting on it? Interesting. What is this? GameStop converts stores into retro retailers to help gamers find old Nintendo. That's pretty cool. I can get behind that. There's a big market for that. Don't know if it's big enough to warrant a $7.6 billion market cap, but hey, that's a good idea. I know retro gaming is super important right now. A lot of pirated stuff in that field. Fabian, you ever see those like little handheld devices that you can put those old gaming on. There's like 10,000 games. Yeah, simulate. Thank you. The emulator. Yes. And I think you can actually put that on the iPhone now. Yeah, he says right. So that's interesting. I think that might eat their market up. I don't know. Jeremy Newman, what about the trillions he talked about at the data centers? No, of course, dude. Don't let my little rant there get you into thinking that I'm bearish on this name. I am not. I think it's a monster. I have it. It's not the biggest part of my account at all. I have a little bit of pre-split, but you know, I'm just being, I don't know, objective. I don't know.
I appreciate you. Also, we have auction.
Go.
It was 5.17%. The previous was 5.24%. That was the auction. Also, why do I like to only trade the drama queens of the market, Sharif? What is wrong with me? I literally was like...
I don't think there's anything wrong with you. I think you're just learning your style.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're good.
I will put it this way. No one can accuse me of trading for profit, okay? We're not trading P&L, that is for sure. If I was, I probably would have said thank you, CrowdStrike, and not kept trading. So, like I said, the LFT, not a vibe. But the trying to take trades I believe in, I think that is a vibe, Sharif.
Bang.
I vibe with that hard. Now, took another L here on SPCE. Like I said, I managed it appropriately. But then I'm looking at my side charts, trying to find side charts. And I'm like, oh, that side chart looks good. Yeah, guess which one it was?
Which?
It was SMCI, Sharif.
Oh.
I can't get away from this thing. I love this thing. What is wrong with me? No, I'm joking. There's nothing wrong with me. But I was watching that 453 in the book. I said, if we break 453 decisively in the book, then if you get a retest 455, then you know your levels for the short. You know your levels on this. Just play them like a human, right? Then we bounce off 453 in the book. If we get back to 455, Adara goes long. Sorry, I'm speaking in the third person. And then we see what we do at 457. We break below 453 on the book, then I go short 455. So basically what I'm doing is I'm going 455. That is my level in either direction. I would be risking $1 in either direction. Wow, SPCE, you really want me to go long, huh? You really want me to go long. I don't know why I'm like threatening it. But yeah, SMCI, CrowdStrike, I also still crowd-like a little bit here, but because we do have those higher lows, and look at the level at which we bounced. It was a level, the 277. I do like that look, but I got bamboozled in this one when I tried the last long. I got a little bit wicky, and clearly Tired Brain has entered the chat, so I want to be aware, make sure that she's getting her voice heard, and her voice is, Adara, don't make me do that much. So I respect that. SMCI, oh my gosh, Sharif.
What happened, Adara?
I'm going to do it. I just don't like that I'm doing this. I feel like I'm in like a really, everyone's like, oh, like, why are you still with this stock? And I'm like, oh, like, he's really nice to me sometimes, I promise. Like, I feel like it's like that, like, I can't, you know what I mean? It's so weird. I don't like all my friends are like, Adara, what are you doing with that SMCI? Like, you can do better. And I'm like, can I? No, I'm joking. All jokes aside, I love this. I love this idea. If we get that, 455, I'm getting long here. I'm adding if we break above 457. That VWAP bounce is crazy. I watched the book. I like my levels. I was scheming. I was plotting. I was scheming. Now let's see if we get money. Because right now, we are the furthest thing from the level of P&L. I'm pretty sure we were at a CrowdStrike. But you know who cares? Not me. Because I'm taking levels based on what I like of a trade. SMCI, are you going to get to 455? I'm definitely not getting my dip buy. We might switch this to 456, then risking to 455. I can live with that. Let's see, though, if we can hold 457, because 457 has been such a level for SMCI. That is for darn sure. Also, Dollar General, another name that I've just been staring at ad infinitum, continues to do Dollar General things, which is have a beautiful downtrend here, fake you like it's going to be an uptrend, then it's going to be a downtrend, and then every time I try to get in, it's like, oh, what, you want to join? No. So all jokes aside here, I like all these whole dollar level rejections here on that one, DG. Look at 89. Look at 88. Look at 87. If we come back to 87, I will start to build a position here in Dollar General. I also want to address Freddie, the friendly guy, a while ago in the chat was like, oh, what do you feel about a SPY short? At the time, we were near days highs in the SPY, and it looked like a bull flag. I said, I would be very, I would be careful about a SPY short, and I would be very aware of the support we have at 562.50, because that was a massive area of previous resistance on multiple days. Look, Sharif, you could even see it on this chart.
Oh, yeah.
562.50.
Oh, great. Yeah, I love that.
562.50. So I would be very aware of that level. That being said, Freddie, the friendly guy, I think if it breaks down, it's a good look. Clearly, you're profitable in the short, because I said that to you in the chat earlier. There you go, SMCI sobered up and driving over now, says Freddie, the friendly guy. That's pretty funny. Yeah, I think that's pretty funny. I think I might go long here, that 456, because we had a little bit of a sloop down in the market, and SMCI is like, what do you mean? I'm still holding. So we'll see what happens here. I don't want to rush into this, though. Like I said, I can believe in my level, but also I can acknowledge I got caught up in this already. But you got to trade for what you believe in, because as the guys in the back say, the thing I'm really trying to learn is if you have the process, the P&L will follow. And right now, the P&L is not my bestie, but does it need to be? I mean, as long as you're risky appropriately, as long as you trust your trade. Right now, I'm willing to work on that, and I'm willing to take some L's. So hopefully, sometime we can make more M's. Band for band, we can go M for M. Shout out to
Ooh, I
Central
like
C and Lil Baby.
Okay, so I'm out of the money right now on TSLA. I had the resting order to go long, and there it goes, man. It's so annoying. I missed this area right here, knowing full well that this 212.40 was an area of resistance. I missed it initially, saw it after the fact, so a little disappointed with myself there for giving back some money, and that's a 40 penny loser, quick as you like, and then it bounces back. But this is the one I want to talk about. GameStop is going 10% now. It broke through the high at 21 3/4. Technically, the high there was 21.79. Now we are really working in possibly into that whole dollar at 22. 21.94, printing 21.91 right now. Strength coming in this name. The volume is also following suit here. About almost 5 million shares. The volume just kind of picked up. It was a little waffly at the beginning of the midday, especially around 10 o'clock. You can kind of see the candles a little incomplete. But now the candle's looking awfully normal as we get that volume pumping back in. I also want to cover this over here. There is an individual by the name of Gassy. I hope that doesn't mean anything. Yeah, he's probably a gassy guy, maybe. Who knows? Maybe he has issues with his gastrointestinal tract. But this is the look over here. So intraday VWAP, this is how the VWAP settings are. Standard deviation set to 1. Intraday VWAP period, 1. Those are the default settings. There's not much to do other than just select the standard deviation of 1 and your display standard as 1. There really isn't. You can kind of change things a little bit here and there, but no real need for it. So it's super simple to set up. Most software programs will come with standard deviations on 1 day for VWAP. So when you look at VWAP on the daily chart, you'll notice that what it ends up doing is it resets every day, and that's because you've programmed it to take that 1 day into account. Case in point, let's load up Tesla, for example. Let me show you what it looks like on the daily. And then when you see VWAP on the daily, it'll zig and zag because it's resetting. So see, you can barely even see. See this white line right here? See how it kind of like has these sharp turns and it's not smooth like moving average? That's because it literally resets every day. VWAP is I don't use it on the daily ever. But I don't know. Maybe other people use it on the daily. I personally don't. But that's why VWAP is so ziggy-zaggy on the daily chart, because we're setting up for 1 period and then 1 standard deviation. I hope that helps, because that's the settings I've always had on my look there. All right, Tesla right back into 212. So I'm not letting this one off the hook, and I want to exact revenge. So let's see if we hold up at these levels. And the levels I'm talking about right now are 212 in general. I don't need to be first, but I need to see it bounce off this level. Very disappointed with myself for not having seen this obvious area of resistance previously support. 212.40, that's a mistake on my part. We'll hope to do better next time, Adair.
You know what I've noticed? I feel like a lot of trading is being disappointed in yourself. Oh, look at Trenda's found some friendas. It's a totem pole of, says Fabian. Yeah, shout out to Randy's buddies. Trenda's now chilling with those guys, the bull and the bear. I did get back in SPCI. Oh, Randy did. That makes so much sense that Randy did it. I was like, I didn't even realize Randy was there. Hi, Randy. How are you doing, Randy? He's waving. Okay. Words. As I spoke there, market moved down. SMCI moved down. So we move out there. Once again, am I happy attempts were made? Yeah. I mean, like I said, words, confidence. If you have risk, if you want to attempt the trade, I think attempt the trade. I think take it with small size, and I think try things that you like. That being said, I waited here for the 456. I liked it on the book. We were pushing up. Then the market moves down. SMCI gets put. Are you really going to recover right now, Smicky? Okay, whatever. It's fine. It's all good there. It's all good, baby. Keep going. Keep pushing. Keep trying. NVIDIA. Oh, my gosh, NVIDIA. I neglected you. Look at this guy. NVDA. Look at this. 121 did something for NVIDIA. And by something, I mean a flat bottom broke. I don't have that animation, but it's a good one. Look at this here. Thank you. I forgot Fabian and Ramin have all the animations. Shout out to them for making that and keeping us alive here. Look at that 121 rejection, right? Then we flip to support. then we support, then we support, then we quadunk, then we reject. 121 was the level in NVIDIA. I noticed this, and then I was like, oh, Adara, do other things. I'm like, no, Adara. Stick with what you need to stick with there. So that's the vibe there. NVDA. CrowdStrike as well here is something I want to talk about. Crowd, I will short you again. So CrowdStrike, look at these lower highs, okay? That 279 area was pivotal for me. It was what I really liked in the book. We wick into 279. That is a lower high. You know what I'm going to do? You guys know what I'm going to do. Maybe you don't. I'm going to set, depending on how the book sets up here, I'm going to get a ready to get short here. Crowd, if we get back to that 278 and change, and I will risk it into this area here, this 278.80s. That's a level I found interesting in the book. We'll see if this bottoming tail candles. You know, Tesla, you're going to be actually, I know your level 2 is permanently up for me, but I'm switching it to CrowdStrikes for now because that is a book that I want to see that I just realized I spelled wrong. But speaking of spelling, what's really cool is learning and lessons. And so with that in mind, make sure as you wait for the lesson, you're thinking, hey, what about tickers while we're doing this lesson? If you have any in mind, get into the chat, ! Join, space, $, ticker. Let us know how you're feeling there. That's what matters. Gabe Bruton, shout out to you. Gabe, I am here semi-frequently. We're only on this show every once in a while, and I know there's a lot of energy, but it's because I'm very passionate about these here markets. Shout out to you, Gabe. Hope your day is going well. Let's talk here about commodity channel indices, though. Make sure you vote for your tickers. So the commodity channel index, what is the CCI? We talk about CPI, we talk about BPI, we talk about PPI, but let's talk about the commodity channel index. So this is a technical indicator that measures the deviation of a price from its statistical mean, and it's often going to be used to identify overbought and oversold conditions. I want to shout out Sharif for bringing up all these lovely little oscillator type names to help us talk about these overbought and oversold conditions because it's something we talk about a lot here in the markets. Let's talk about the commodity channel index, okay? Look, we've got these levels kind of support resistance on the stock. Now look how we kind of see this mirrored, some of this action mirrored here within the CCI, which is this area below. It looks very similar to how you see in a lot of oscillators. So let's talk about this. Calculation of CCI, shout out to my math nerds as someone who is one.
Hey.
So typical price here, basically we want to do here is CCI equals typical price minus the 20-period SMA of the typical price divided by 0.015 times the 20-period simple moving average of the mean absolute deviation. So it's going to be your high plus your low plus your close divided by 3. So the mean, that's your typical price. So the mean absolute deviation is going to be the absolute average difference between the typical price and the 20-year simple moving average of the typical price. This formula basically came from the concept of standard deviation, which measures the dispersion of a data set around its mean. But the CCI does use a modified version of standard deviation called the mean absolute deviation, which is less sensitive to outliers. As we know, the reversion can be mean, the outliers and the absolute deviations can also be mean.
They're very mean.
Right? I wanted to use that pun because we drops that sometimes. That's awesome. Let's talk about using the CCI for trading. So one thing you can use it for is identifying overbought and oversold conditions. It can be used to identify potential reversal points when the market's overbought or when the market's oversold. You can also use it to confirm trends. So the rising CCI can confirm an uptrend, a falling CCI can confirm a downtrend, and identifying divergences is key here as well because the divergence between the CCI and the price can signal a potential reversal. So how do you identify overbought and oversold levels? Overbought is when you've got a CCI reading above 100, which can suggest the market might be overbought, and this suggests that prices have risen too quickly, too fast, too much. It was up, then it's up, then it's up. Then how does it stay up? Right? Oversold, though, is when you've got a CCI reading falling below negative 100, which can suggest that the market may be oversold and the prices have fallen too quickly and might be due for a rebound. Speaking of which, Dollar General trying to rebound. So you can have things oversold, and then we got stuff creeping back up. So I think that's certainly a nice example. Also, I don't know if you're seeing all the love for Texas in the chat. Shout out to your boys, the Cowboys.
I don't think it's because of that. I think the dude saying is like something's big in Texas or something.
Oh, I don't know.
I won't say nothing bad about the Cowboys.
Right, I figured you wouldn't, yeah. Overbought and oversold. So there's one example here, right? You've got your overbought level. As you push up above here, it gets a little shaded in blue. Then your oversold, also kind of getting shaded here. And that's, you see when we get overbought, price comes down a bit. When you reach that oversold level, guess what happens? Price comes right back up. So that's not always going to happen. These things are not perfect. We know sometimes things have been in overbought territory, oversold territory for months. And they're like, oh, keep trekking up, keep trekking down. So it's just one way to look at potential areas more than anything else. Let's talk as well here about how you identify this divergence. So bullish divergence here is basically occurring when you've got the price making a new low, but the CCI does not make a new low, which can suggest that the buying pressure is increasing and a potential reversal might be on the horizon. What about bearish divergence? This is what happens when you've got the price making a new high, but the CCI does not make a new high, which suggests that you've got the pressure, selling pressure increasing and a potential reversal might be on the horizon. So important to remember though, that these levels are not absolute, much like any indicator, right? They depend on the market conditions, and it's often helpful to combine these indicators with each other. And here's some ways you could spot divergence, we'll talk about in a second, but here's some examples of divergence. Creep up here, out of oversold, creep down in the price. Looks what happens. We follow, we go up, we pamp on the CCI. Look at this, we get a move up, move down here on this guy. That is the CCI, and then we continue to push higher. Then you can kind of see some examples of it's not always going to be perfect. This, we actually had a little bit of divergence, and we continue to push the price higher. So that is worth noting. That's a good point. Also, how do you spot divergence, though? Identify a new high or low in the price. Then you want to see if the CCI has made a corresponding new high or low. Then if you've got a mismatch between the new high and the new low and all these levels, a divergence might be on the horizon. So let's compare the CCI to the stochastic oscillator, which we talked about yesterday. Shout out to Sharif for these lessons and giving these comparative points. So both the CCI and the stochastic oscillator are momentum oscillators that can be used to identify overbought and oversold conditions and potential reversals, but there are some key differences. The focus is one of them. So the CCI focuses on the deviation of the price from a statistical mean, but the stochastic will focus on the closing price relative to the high-low range. And the calculation is also going to be different. The CCI will use a 20-period moving average, and we use a 3-period simple moving average for the stochastic oscillator. So also, simple moving average, that's another distinct difference between the stochastic and the CCI. Shout out to tomorrow's special guest. Sensitivity is also worth noting here. CCI might be more sensitive to larger price swings, while the stochastic oscillator might be more sensitive to short-term price fluctuations. So be aware of how these behave differently. They all have different levels. That is the lesson of the day, and I think you got sent some funny stuff, I'm guessing.
Adira, I just found out that Dua Lipa is an Arsenal fan.
No.
Why was I not made aware of this before?
Like every British celebrity I've heard of has a section of their Wikipedia dedicated to their soccer team. She was real, Sharif.
Yeah, Adira.
Hashtag
yes,
Dua.
and apparently the Arsenal fans are hating on her. We don't want no bandwagoners. Guess what? I want her as a bandwagoner. Shout out to Dua, always doing the absolute most. She's doing the absolute most, Adira. And I happen to love it. So shout out to Dua Lipa. All right, let's get back into the groove of things here. We got a quick 19.6 bounce on the NQ futures contract. Shout out to Dan, the dang man Emmons, who printed up a storm on his level there, 19.611 printed, but he's still looking downside. I want to read Dan's levels, because he just tagged me in them not that long ago. I'm still short the NQ at 19.680, target 19.611, 19.586, 19.550. Pattern, PITP, pattern is the pattern. Already hit target 1, obviously, because we did dip into 19.6, so that 19.611 target for Dan triggered. Shout out to him. Hope he continues to print up a storm. I'm going to go long Tesla again. Call me crazy. But I'm going long here because I like the bounce off the volume-weighted average price. We'll see what we get, and we won't get upset. Look to wet our beak possibly right in front of that 212 area. We'll see if this one holds up. Let's see, where are we going to get out? We're going to get out. We're going to have to be tight with this because I don't want to give too much of the profits back on the day. So we're going to give this one the old community college try, and we'll see exactly what happens with that. If it doesn't go, it doesn't go. It's as simple as that. All right, I'm seeing Apple as well. I saw a bit of a doji candle form here on AAPL. It's below a lot of these moving averages, so I'm not using any of those. It's going to have to be price levels now. So a bit of a doji candle there, but nothing has changed on Apple. We're still putting in lower highs and lower lows. If you're basing something off this trough, you're still waiting, because we haven't got back into that level yet. I was looking at this candle right here after 2 red candles, and then it goes green, but then obviously comes right back down again. So we're going to pack our patience out of the money yet again on Tesla. I don't know why I keep trading this name and then keep getting cut up on it. If I don't have a read, I don't have the read. I'm always late to the party on Tesla. I want to get in a low here. I don't know why I didn't. Was held back from doing so, but we'll see if we get stopped out or whether this one rises back to test 212. Bit of a boneheaded trade here, I got to say. I'm going to get stopped out again. So frustrating. I did this to myself. Amazon, I'm kind of seeing a similar look here on Amazon, quite frankly, where we, come into that 174.25, and then we weaseling back right into VWAP, but holding VWAP here, unlike another one that I've been trading. So we'll have to keep an eye out here on Amazon, see if it can curl right back up. It got support at 179 and a third quarter there. Now it's up into the 60, 50 penny area. So we'll keep eyes on that. Not much else really to talk about. I haven't been involved in really any other trades other than this Tesla trade. Obviously in CRM earlier. Wow, GameStop keeps going. Neil, GameStop's above 22 bucks. So it's now into 22.05, up 10 3/4. GameStop's been continuing to go today, Dara. Good look for it. Now the volume picking up a little bit. It's above 5 million now, 5.11. Last time we spoke, it was still below that $5 million mark. So we'll keep tabs on that. Tesla right back into the high 80s again. It's still not able to work its way into that 212. I could get out here for a break even, but I'm just far too stubborn. So we'll keep an eye on this one, see if it can weasel its way back into the whole dollar and print us there. What I've been noticing, though, is that softy here, a little weak now. Okay, so there aren't a whole lot of names below the volume weighted average. Well, I shouldn't say that. Google, what am I saying? Google, Meta, Microsoft, and NVIDIA are all below VWAP. You have the likes of Tesla and Apple and Amazon all above VWAP. Likewise with the Future. It's an anemic bounce right now, though, on the Future. That 19.6 defend, it's quite anemic. So I'm not putting a whole lot of stock into this bounce, and that could spell trouble for my Tesla long. Saad Mahmood, that trend line from bottom 209 on your Tesla chart, that line was violated. Let's have a look at what he's talking about. Let's load. Oh, well, I'm already stopped out, my man, because it just broke down again. Yeah, it's quite frustrating for me today. I don't think I've had the right read on Tesla, and that's okay. So we'll give up a little bit again there on TSLA. Still positive on the day, but not happy with these two trades here. So a little disappointed with myself. Meta here says pass overdose.
We got her back.
Well, Randy threw her back. I use her as leverage against Ram. I was thinking maybe use that. Well, it's okay. All right, Tesla breaking down now below the third of $1 as, we're getting some weakness, I guess, right here on the Future. Let's see what Saad Mahmood's saying. Okay, we want to look at that Tesla trend line he was talking about.
Speaking of trend lines, Trenda. She likes trend lines.
Where are you drawing your trend line, Saad? Because I'm starting it from the pre-market over here, and it's going through 211. Not much there. It's at VWAP. It breached VWAP again, 211.50, which is basically where VWAP is, but we're getting a breach of that level. So, yeah, you know what? I'm 0 for 2 on the day. I don't need to continue to trade it. There's really no reason. I can make money elsewhere. Let's flip to some of the small cap gappers, see if any of them are still strong and tradable. Okay, so this one is very interesting. EOS. I didn't really go into this one a whole lot today, but this is a beautiful look, man. Dang, off that VWAP area, buying up a storm. All the wicks were bought off that 260. The details on this are, it's almost a $600 million market cap, minus $3 million. So it's 597 million. 19.3 million shares traded on the day for EOSE. And the float is 202 million. Let's bring down trade ideas and see what the short float is on this. EOSE. Okay, 22 2/3% of the float of 212. It's saying 212 over here. I have 202 on mine. Essentially, 200 some odd million shares, over 20% of which is shorted. That's why this bad boy is going. We're 1 penny off the high of the day. We double topped here at 1050 and 1055 at 277. We're printing 276, 275 right now. We could take out that top. EOSE is going here in small cap gapper world. A-Lab as well, coming into the volume weighted average price. It's a more expensive name. Let me give you the details on this one if I didn't already. Where the hell is A-Lab? Oh, let's just load it. ALAB. $7.5 billion market cap, so bit of a bigger company here. But what I like about it is that it just found its footing at the volume-weighted average price, a predictable level of support. Once you clear it, let's see if it holds up there. It's not updating on my chart for whatever reason. $50 essentially is the high of the day, but 48 right now is what we're printing on the volume-weighted average price. I have the likes of a Firma, but that's, really just putting in higher lows, but not really showing you where it's going to get too choppy for me right now. Likewise with Dell, not at a predictable area. CRM's been having a lot of trouble with 260. We were in it when it broke 261, so this is kind of dead as well. Not the kind of trade I'm looking for. Likewise with Lucy, it was strong to start the day, but as you can see, kind of zigging and zagging. At least for me, not a discernible trend off which I can trade. It's really going to be EOSE and A-Lab here for these small cap gappers. Even Astis is broken down here, Dara. Not a good look for them. Let's see what the market is up to. It looks like Tesla finding a bit of a bounce here at VWAP. I won't be trading that anymore on the day. And we're still a little bit above 19.6 on the future, but we are putting in these topping tail candles. And that is a problem. That means there is some selling here, especially in light of the fact that we're selling here topping tail into the 10 exponential. Looks like some people are using the 10 exponential now as resistance rather than support. We'll see if that trend or that habit continues here. If we break 19.6, we'll know the answer to that here.
Yeah, I mean, if it makes you feel any better, you're not the only person on this here desk that had struggling reads with Tesla. Tesla, we call it Stressla for a reason, right? I will not be taking any more trades today just because, for LFT reasons, like I said, I think it's good to not trade what you like, not trying to trade for P&L, trade for your progress. I think that's fine, but I think there has to be some aggressive journaling done. Shout out to that phrase I use a lot. I'm not proud of giving back the entire crowd ghost, because come on, this was a tasty ghost. This was a good ghost.
Is that your best trade ever?
It is my best trade ever. I gave it all up, Sharif. What am I doing? But I'm just being honest. That's why I'm not trading anymore today. Might switch this in, but I'd rather just kind of look at stocks right now. Like I said, if I want to follow my tired trading rules, which arguably I did not today, I want to be making sure I'm not taking trades in this in either if I am this level of fatigued. But I want to look at names for people. Jay Lee. Oh, also, I want to talk about CrowdStrike because I did want to go. I would be interested if I did take anything that 278 long again here on CrowdStrike. Pop in here. I said I initially liked it as a short, but once we held that 278, and look at that bullish little candle that came in as I was yapping. Words. As I was talking, CrowdStrike was like, "Oh, you think I'm a short? I'm gonna go make this bullish candle." So good look there. I think the bigger issue that I have here though is SPCE.
Get it, Smicky.
I did not get. Well, here's my thing.
Smack the Smicky.
I don't want to. Yeah, I'm smacking SPCE. To be clear, no regrets. You don't have emotions in trading, and that's why I took these trades. Because, like I said, if I was trading P&L, probably would not have looked at SMCI twice. What I'm upset about though is I had my 457 level. If I had shorted that, that would have worked out. But I was like, oh no, let's see what CrowdStrike's doing. To be clear, cool with the CrowdStrike long I attempted there, but here's where the issue came in. Okay. Why was I going long at resistance? I should have needed way more confluence before going long at resistance. Then I take the short through VWAP, but instead of taking the short through VWAP, I wait for the retest. It's like, if you have confidence in the levels, which I did in both those trades, why am I not slamming into them the second I see it? I should be going in right away. Within reason, right? So that's what I think here. Again, you do learn a little bit from every single trade, but sometimes you learn a little bit more and give up the ghost a little bit more than you want to. Oh, yeah. And that's why I'm trying to be really honest with you guys. I don't know how I went from green to red today. That should not have happened. It happened, and that's why I'm being really honest. This CrowdStrike trade was dope. This was the best trade I've taken since live. And I don't mean that from P&L, yes, but also in terms of the process here, this is the cleanest trade I've had. So you can have a good day, and then you can make your own day and
decisions. This is the kind of trade that you can be done the rest of the day. Not touch the keyboard the rest of the day. Right,
and that's what I'm realizing and that's because it's hard to when you're on the show. This trade, I think
we're different.
I left this trade at 11:10, so that's when things get a little bit hard, right? Because then we got 2 hours and 15 minutes left.
Well, exactly.
And to be clear, I stand by the trades I took. Probably could have managed them better, and I think with SMCI, I like the levels I had. I just should have been hitting them the second I liked them because that thing will move a little bit violently. So that is the look here. That is my honest answer on that. Also, guys, you have 18 minutes left. Vote for tickers, ! Join, space, $, and your ticker.
Jeez.
Look at that. Resistance, support flip. So clean. Oh my gosh, this is beautiful. Higher highs, higher lows. Where will it stop? We'll find out. And it could actually be VWAP here because we did have a topping tail candle into VWAP at the $2 level. How many times can I say confluence till this BOF chart believes me? This is wild. Amazon too, kind of interesting. What are you looking at over here, though?
I'm just sad. I got your message. Thank you, brother. I will look at that in a second. Hard for me to look at it right now, but thank you. I got the DM. I will be looking at it. I do appreciate you, Sad. I'm in GameStop right now. I just took about 11 pennies. It is coming down into my level, though, so this is the 15 penny level that I like, but I'm starting to think that the right move here is to wait for a 22 retracement. That's where the 10 exponential on the 5 is. We're going to get long here at 15, so I'm going to flatten out here because I don't want that entry, and I'm going to set up my new order right at 22. I'm going to front run 22. I'm going to sit here at 3s, I don't know, 5s. Let's go 5s because I'm born the 5th month. I like that better. So let's see if this works down into this level. I'm profitable on it, but I want to defend that $22 area. That's where the 10 exponential on the 5 is, and we're extended. So remember we were doing that week on moving averages. I said technically you don't use moving averages to gauge overbought or oversold conditions, but there is this informal way of doing it. That would be essentially looking at how extended the price range is away from the closest moving average, especially if you're using 4 like I do. And right now it looks like it's getting bought back up. So exuberant either buyers. This only dipped into 12. It didn't even come back into 22, but that doesn't mean the move is done. I'm going to leave my 22.5 here. Or sorry, yeah, 22.05 here on GME. If it starts curling back up, meaning that it stops putting in lower lows and lower highs and starts putting in candles that put higher lows and higher highs, even on the 1 minute, I'm going to get long to possibly get right back into this. But I do like that 22.05 if we get that flush. I'd like to defend the whole dollar. I'd like the price action to come a little bit closer into the 10 exponential on the 5, but I don't choose. Tan, Sharif, looks like Mario brother today. Woo, thanks, bro. I appreciate the nice comments. I love Mario, so that's good for me. What else we got over here? Yeah, I don't know. Ricky Peters, go Sharif. I hope you're trading GameStop too, my man, because it just rocketed back up, Adara, and I had no part in this. I suck, but we're looking to get back in here. If we continue here with GameStop, the high of the day, 22.42. It looks like there's all sorts of strength coming into this name. It didn't even give me anything close to my level at 22.05. Didn't even break 10s. And right back up into the 30s it goes. No idea why oh, well, we do know. We mentioned it earlier. They're going to convert their retro retailers as well, and they kind of gave the finger to one of their debtors there. They said, we're canceling that debt, or they're paying it off. I'm not sure. They didn't really say whether they were defaulting on the loan or whether they were paying off the loan. They gave notice of termination, whatever that means. I'm unsure there, so we'll have to get more clarification, but nonetheless, they are in play. No question about it. 12.25 in the green right now on GME, and the volume's picking up. When we first reported this was 4 and change volume. Now we're talking about almost 6.25 million shares having done. And you can look at the volume bars and know that the majority of the volume is coming in recently, not earlier. So the participation by the market is coming in now, more now than it was earlier. Come back down into my 22, baby. I'm waiting. So we'll see if this one can zig and zag. It couldn't break the high. It makes a lower high on this candle. This 5-minute candle is lower in its high than its predecessor at 130. So this 135 candle right now on the 5-minute chart still not above its predecessor. So we'll keep tabs on this one. I'm very interested in trading it so long as it is directional as it's being right now. Shout out to on the blockchains. They will be using cash from here on out at the moment, sitting on a $4 billion Okay.
$1 billion.
I know they had some cash. That's interesting. That's actually a good look for them, so they don't have to pay the interest on the debt. Kind of bewildering, though, why they would want to pay off the debt when we're going to get into a lower interest rate environment. You have to assume the Fed's going to cut next month, right? If that's not 50, it's 25. Either way, it's lower. But maybe the savings that they're going to get to burn through cash would outweigh whatever savings that we're going to make on the difference in the interest rate. So we'll have to wait and see. Thank you for adding that commentary there. I did not know. Aldrin is GME. I'm up 1,000% on my call option. Shout out to you, Aldrin Giller. Great trade there. Print up a storm, my man. And that's the way it is there. Okay, so we'll keep looking over here. Ibad, Sharif, what are your thoughts on Dell earnings? Will it beat expectations? Oh, I love these questions. No, I don't. It's hard to know, man. Look, Morgan Stanley, let me load up my little notes from the morning because Morgan had some comments on them. They were concerned about a couple of things. I don't want to parrot it back, but it's good for you to know. So let me bring down the Dell one over here because I keep everyone a little bit different. Salesforce, Dollar General, Affirm, Best Buy, Adara. Well, there's so many. I can't believe this. There it is. Morgan Stanley.
I told you this one.
It was nuts. So you can bring my screen, Ram. All right, here it is. So Morgan Stanley, they basically downward revised the price target. They were, no worries. Yeah, they were overweight. They're still overweight. They're dropping the price target though. Ibad, from 142 to 136. Here are the reasons. Analysts revise their estimates for AI server shipments for the calendar year of 2024. They dropped it down from about 37 to 38,000 servers shipped, to 37 to 38,000 from 48,000. So that's a look. The factors driving the reduced outlook, they say weaker demand for the MI300X based server, delays in NVIDIA's Blackwell technology, as well as smaller pushouts of some Hopper orders. We know that that's the H100. It looks like as if orders are getting a bit smaller there. So that's the look. The impact of the Blackwell delays as well could be a problem as maybe some companies hold off, at least temporarily, from making the big orders for these servers and wait for the Blackwell chip to come out. Maybe they don't want to invest in the H100. We'll have to wait and see. It's a hard question to ask, brother, just because it's so hard to know exactly how any company does at any one moment in time. So that's the look there. I hope that helps, and I hope you print up a storm no matter what you're doing on that. Now, I'm still looking at GameStop here because we are now knocking on the door. We've been knocking on the door of 2240 for a hot minute, and that door hasn't opened. So there's a seller of note at that 2240 area. That's a better part now of almost 15 minutes we've been rejecting off that 2240 area on GameStop. GameStop's moving here, Katina, man, up 12.5%. I don't think my order, quite frankly, at 2205 is valid at all here. So we're going to cancel that. Let me load up GameStop on the 5-minute look here, and then we'll have...
Every time you switch screens, I see the girls.
Yeah, I know, right? This is the area. Yeah, Dara. I mean, like, what am I supposed to do? So 20... Look, you're going to have to front run this. We're going to have to front run the 10 exponential. The 10 exponential is now at 216, 215. If I want to get in... You know, it looks like we're bull flagging. Look at okay, so we're not really printing big boy high, like through that 240 area, but what we're doing is putting in higher lows. So the buyers are more exuberant on every successive 5-minute candle, just not exuberant enough to take out the seller who's been hanging out in the low 40s. So it looks like it's just imminent here unless we turn around. But the bamboozlement's real, Adair, on GME. It could drop off anytime. Jay Lee, take profit here, allow room for a slight reload. Jay, what are you talking about, my man? I'm in no positions. Let me know what you're talking about, Jay, because I may have missed your earlier message. I'm unsure. Maybe he's talking about Dell because he was asking you about Dell earlier. No. Was he asking you about
Maybe Dell?
Jay, yeah, he is. View on ground Dell is good. We prefer to buy their servers over many like HPE, etc. Yeah. So Jay Lee commenting there in the chat if you want to go read his message to Adara about the Dell earnings, giving his opinion. Shout out to Jay. Thank you for that. But yeah, my man Rive Millionaire, he wants to talk about SPCE. He wants to vote for SMCI. So how about you guys? Who do you guys want to vote for? Every day between 2 to 2:20, I gesticulate wildly on the green screen. for your entertainment. No, I'm just joking. Of course, the big kahunas, though, they look at the tickers as decided by you. The top 5 make it on. So if you have a ticker of choice today that you want to see Neil and Sean comment about, get into the chat right now and use this prompt right there on your screen, exclamation point, join, space. Make sure there's a space between the word join and $, and then the $, and your ticker of choice, Adair.
I appreciate you having a good sense of humor about the gesticulating wildly thing. That started when I was like, oh, Sharif will stand at the green screen. He's like, oh, I do more than stand. And now he gesticulates wildly. Either way, shout out to Sharif. He will be killing it.
Oh, Derek, can I comment about one other thing?
Please do.
Okay, so everybody knows how much I love soccer or football, depending on what side of the world you're on. Okay, so here we go, baby. We have the draws for the 2024-2025 Champions League. Katina, man, here we go. We have in pot 1. Oh, wow, what's going on over here? Oh, these are all the games. Okay, I can't read all these. Pot 1, Madrid, Man City, Bayern, PSG, Liverpool, Inter, BVB, Leipzig, and Barca. So that's Dortmund. Pot 2, Leverkusen, Bayer Leverkusen, Atletico Madrid, Atalanta, Juventus, Benfica, Arsenal, Bruges, Shakhtar Donetsk, and Milan. That's a great group for Arsenal. I think we can walk through them easily, except Leverkusen. Leverkusen went undefeated last year in the Bundesliga. Pot 3, Feyenoord, Sporting, PSV, Dynamo Kiev, Salzburg, Lille, Red Star, Red Star is Moscow, I think. Young Boys, it's always weird. Celtic.
That's the team.
Don't ask me, Adero. I did make it up. It's from, I think it's from Holland or Netherlands. Slovan, Monaco, Sparta, Villa, that's Aston Villa, Bologna, Girona, Stuttgart, Sturm Graz, and Brest are on pot 4. So those are the different pots. Obviously, we know that the Champions League has a different format this year. It's no longer just that group. It's going to be like a season. So I'm really excited for this, Adera. Hopefully, it's a good season.
I'm excited for you, but also I have a question because you said Arsenal was going to walk through them. Do you mean they're going to kick through them? Because they're going to kick.
Sorry, Ram was saying something while you were saying something. Someone in the chat said they're a pro soccer player, so I'm going to check that in a sec. But what were you saying? Because there's a pun here.
Well, because you said, oh, Arsenal's going to walk through them. But what if Arsenal kicks through them? Because there's
would even be better, because kicking seems to be a more violent act.
It also seems to be something they're good at because they play the footy.
Of course.
Yeah, that was what the pun was.
That's why I'm not that smart.
You are. It was not a good pun there. Shout out to Neil for calling me out on that. Also, Rivian Millionaire wanted to talk about SMCI. I have no qualms talking about my errors in SMCI. You know what the biggest error was?
What?
Not trusting my darn self.
Bang.
That is the biggest issue. And I'm not saying like, oh, I'm some expert, always trust. No, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying like, why are you not going after things immediately? Like I was like, oh, let's wait for a retest of the VWAP break. It's like if SMCI breaks VWAP, that's all she wrote. So why are you not getting part of that VWAP break? Or are you waiting for the retest? Like, you gotta trust yourself more than I was doing. That is for darn sure. Not like your view will always be perfect, but you definitely can't be afraid of being wrong, and I think I am, and that's why I hesitate, and that's why I make mistakes. Now, this CrowdStrike trade, too. I went after this with the viciousness, with an aggression, because I believed in it. So why am I not doing the same with SPCE? Because it's a scary stock? Like, that is my thing, and I want to shout out Kyle Burdett as well, who's giving me some nice advice. You know, it's hard to go from green to red in the day, especially when it's like the best trade you've ever had.
Bang.
You know what I mean? I'm not going to lie. Like, I don't even mean that just for P&L. I mean that for progress as well and for the process. So it's hard to do that, but you have to think about why do you do that? For myself anyway, I was like, I definitely was trading a little bit more tired, and I've said that I think is an issue. This is also my first time trading live in a few moons, which is not an excuse, but I think was also maybe affecting the mental a little bit for some of those later trades. So I'm excited to go back again live tomorrow. I will be again live tomorrow. I will be taking some more trades. I am still live, but it said I'm not going to be taking that many trades. Also, it will be Adobe season tomorrow as well. So Adobe Reunion Tour. Will we trade some ADBE? Probably not, but we
trade what's called the VIX last time.
I did trade the VIX last time.
Obi loves the VIX.
I was trading. I took like a VIX long, and I was like, that thing. You just have to have your order set. I'll put it that way.
Was it on the ETF or the futures?
I traded at VXX, so I traded the ETF. Nice. But let's see what the VIX is doing, because yesterday we looked at the VIX, and the VIX was like, woo. Now the VIX is actually down here about 5%. I like this. Hey, Davis, what Davis has to say here. It's just a business move. Don't overthink any move. Just set it up and trust the trade. I like that. I also want to say what someone else here was saying too.
Lines.
Like, it kind of helps if you don't come in with any preconceived notions. Just see what you like. I agree with it to some extent, but I think sometimes you do have to have preconceived notions because that helps show your conviction and your confidence. That crowd strike, I saw what I liked. I knew I wanted short, even when there were some factors that could have shaken me out. The SMCI, I knew I wanted short, so why didn't I short it? So I think to some extent that's true, that you should be open-minded, but once you see stuff you like, you should trust your instinct there. So I want to shout out the person who the chat, I think it was Barrett or something in the chat who said that. VIX, nice downside move. Yesterday, VIX was nice up. Big downside move here for the V to the X to the X. Yeah, I traded it once. Ravine Millionaire, it was a profitable trade, but I did have a long in the VIX once, and I think that was the Friday before the Black Monday. That's what that was. So there were some opportunities to long the VIX at that day. What else are people looking at here? Dark cloud cover on the hourly on the SPY. Let's feel it. Let's see what happens here on the SPY. There's a level I love on the, okay, this I want to say head and shoulders because it's not necessarily head and shoulders, but look at that. I want to shout out Freddie, the friendly guy, because I said, I don't know, the SPY looks like it held support really nicely. We were bouncing at the time off that 562.50, which you guys know has been a multi-level resistance level I've been yapping about for the SPY, but the long does not have the bull flag that it kind of looks like it was going to be. Rips to the downside. Then look where we reject violently. That's right. 562.50, multi-day levels make sense. I do want to shout out Freddie, the friendly guy. I said even there, I said, I think it looks like a long, but if it rejects 562.50, RIP. Yeah, shout out to Kyle Burdett, who seems pleased as punch. Hey, market, come on down. So yeah, let's come on down. Let's come on down with Google as well. Someone was asking her about Google. Shout out to David Beach. That sounds like, I wish I was at a beach right now. No, I'm joking. I love being here with these markets. And I would likely fall asleep on a beach. So let's take a look at GOOGL. Oh, wow. Okay, there's some violent price action on Google here. Oh, my gosh. Okay, let's see if there's any news here with this GOOGL. We know Google's been moving basically anytime OpenAI kind of mentions anything because OpenAI is working on their search feature, right? So, okay, here we go. Makes sense. So we've got Wall Street Journal reporting that Apple's now in talks to join the OpenAI funding round, and ChatGPT apparently usage has doubled since last year, so that's not a great look for Google. We've now got Apple joining the OpenAI funding round, and we know OpenAI wants to debut Search GPT. So I figured it was a Search GPT story. Happy to have that confirmed. Also, this volume candle is larger than the volume candle we had at open, so people are running out of Google here, guys. Google right now is searching for support, and I don't know if it's going to find it. I hate to pun in a moment like this, but wow, this is pretty bloody, Sharif.
Yeah, Apple dipped to Adara into the volume weighted average price, but this was nothing new. We already knew that this was going to happen. Anybody who's been using ChatGPT, forget about Search GPT. I go into ChatGPT and I say, look for this. It searches the internet. This was a matter of time. Right now, look, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. They're going to have to maneuver here, but this is a big down move. We already knew as well that you were going to be able to use ChatGPT on the new iPhone, so that's not a new thing for us as well here. We already knew about that, so that's the look. I'm waiting here on GME, so I'm looking at GME. I know that Google's all the hype right now. I have to load up Google. It's criminal not to load it up right now, given how it's tanking. But how does the market take this over time? Sure, there's the initial reaction. But this isn't it. I think, now we're seeing, I wonder if this has anything to do with the antitrust implications. I really, you know what I mean? Like, because now, if you're an investor, well, that actually doesn't make sense. I'm just correcting myself because the EU is already investigating Microsoft and OpenAI for being in cahoots. And so what if they invested? Yeah, so that doesn't check with me. Anyway, got up here into 36s on GME, but I'm not printing. I'm waiting for that 40 break. It's not coming in quite yet. Now we're going to have to figure out how to trade Google here, Dara, because we did break that IB or the institutional level print at 8 a.m., which was 162.41. We're popping here. Is this a short to pop kind of situation on Google, or what's the deal? Like, how are you guys trading this? Tag me in the chat. Let me know what you're looking for. Are you looking for that umbrella pattern that pops up a little bit, then gets sold off to make a new low? Right now, we have a 162.32 low. We're not even barely negative on the day, baby. We're only 0.12 negative, so that ain't even that big of a move. Sure, it's a big move intraday, but like overall, we're not even talking that bad of bleeding right now. It looks bad on a very focused, isolated chart, but what's the situation? Are we shorting 163? Where is resistance? Where is previous area of resistance? I have really no idea. It's 152. I got to be up at the big desk in a couple of minutes, or the big screen in a couple of minutes, so unlikely to get involved in this. But this is looking like it's going to come down again. Here we go. We know that 32 is a low. Today we were just printing 42s. So it looks like that low might be breached here. We're looking. We're below the $0.50. Printing 30s. It looks like we want to break down again. Where could we break down to? 160? Sure, that $10 level is a juicy one and an easy one to gauge, right? 160, that's easy enough. All right, we printed there on GameStop. Happy, we're gonna let that work. But we gotta focus on Google here, Dara, because this is a big, big down move. Behooves me to do some charting. Let's go up here. Let's go to the 30. See here exactly where the levels of support and resistance are. So no, we don't. We need to bleed more, it looks like over here. And we are bleeding more, Derek, because we just printed another low, 162.26. This is a level I'm looking at here, 161.50. That is the low from yesterday when we bled and bled and bled, but we kept having this support at 161.5. That's the local area here. Obviously, there's more to the downside. We just talked about 160, the $10 area. Maybe we get that, maybe we don't. There are multiple areas of support on our way down to 160, not the least of which is 161.5, even 162. I mean, it's a whole dollar level. Put some respect on the whole dollar level's name. Are you trading this? What's your look?
I mean, like I said, I'm
oh,
really
that's right. My bad.
Not really taking any trades right now, but that Google, I'll tell you what my look would be on Google. I can totally tell you that. That is probably not my type of name that I would trade. I'm going to be honest, because I feel like I have a hard time entering these at the moment they need to be entered. Oh, okay, that being said, well, I looked at this earlier, right? I'm just looking at this again.
I know.
But, hey, on the book, the 162.70 was a fight. So what I would do is I would wait for 162.70, then I would decide to see what I do here. If we reject 162.70 violently, it's a short for me. If we would hold it, it would be a long. Not trading it, and I don't even know if we're going to get 162.70, but that's just based on levels I liked on the book. Because like I said, that's always going to be what tips me over for trading. I've literally been here taking screenshots, looking at charts, and doing some pre-journaling and pre-reflecting. I want to shout out Big Smile, Big Spire, Kyle Fredette. One of the many things I love about this community is how honest everyone is. Like, it's such a good, people will share their experience, they'll share their losses, they'll share their wins, and I really appreciate it. So giving me a lot to reflect on. Google, you're gonna push in. What are you gonna do 162.70? You said this was gonna be my level for Google. Oh, I called it. I called the book on this, Sharif.
Get it, Adara.
If we get 162.70, that's a decision, and Google's up. Did I trade it? No, but I know how I would have. I would have risked into 162.50, and I would have gone long 162.70, and I would have been trying to take 163.15s. One thing that Neil said is even if you're not trading, think about how you would trade it if you were in it.
Bang.
That's why I would have taken Google. So I'm happy I got to watch that move. Thank you, Sharif, for posing that question to me. I do appreciate it there. And I think, honestly, like, I want to be learning every single darn day. Really difficult price action today, says Josh S. Yeah, it's been a difficult one. Tesla, King Bamboozler, we were talking about how we both got driven by that Cybertruck, run over, then had our bodies run over again by the Cybertruck, and then it still wouldn't open the door for us.
Can you do the campus because I got to weasel
of course.
up?
Yeah. Weird violent analogy aside, let's talk about how lucky we are, and I feel this every day, to be with Real Trading. And you know one thing too, is we actually have a campus program with Real Trading. So, hey there, Canadian traders. I know there are some in the chat. Are you ready to get back to basics and become a real trader? Real Trading's campus program is on now. Our specialized learning experience is here to guide you through the essentials of trading. You'll learn about market microstructure, explore various marketplaces, and understand the different order types. This upcoming cohort is going to focus on U.S. equities, starting with a carefully selected stock list designed for optimal learning. No high flyers here. As you demonstrate your skills, you will unlock expanded symbol availability. So just join us to bridge the gap between professional execution and retail trading. Let's bridge build your trading foundation together. Shout out to Real Trading. Very happy to be here with this prop firm because honestly, this is the only place I've ever traded. I've really only ever traded here on the screen in front of everyone. So I really want to shout out this experience. I'm very grateful for it. Look at Google holding that 162.70. What this tells me is, you know what? You see stuff like that, you got to go for it. Like I said, I made the decision, like, no more trading today. But I've seen that move now, and now I know, Adara, next time you see a move down like this in the market, look for any areas of recovery where the book might be interesting. If we hit that again, you got to hit him up styles. But this is interesting too. There's clearly some kind of rejection at 163.15 because we do not eclipse that area after waking into it previously. Let's see if we can hold 163 here on G to the O to the O to the G to the L. Yeah, Roger, I feel like that's one of the hard things with trading is it is common to repeat mistakes, but one thing I've realized that I want to work on is like if there are stocks making, that aren't making like the biggest move of the day, why are you trading them? SMCI tempted it, but it's like that was not clearly the star of the day. The long off, the 457 ended up being right, but I had way too many attempts at that before that ended up working out. Basically, one thing I've really learned here is just focus on the stocks that are making the big moves. To be fair, decent volume here, my type of stock, I had levels, but there were definitely better opportunities, so I should not have been anchoring my mind to this one. And that's one thing to be aggressively journaling about. Shout out to this community. Go Canadian traders. Join Real Trading. Marvell is going down tonight, Roderick Sims. Thank you for reminding me about one of the tickers we're trading tonight. Here, and one of them is going to be Marvell. That is going to be earnings tonight for MRVL. We're going to be able to marvel at those with Neil Roberts on that desk. On the market recap. Oh, Marvell. Look at that hold there. That is a 70-75 hold. Look at that area here, right? We have that bounce off VWAP a couple times. Weak basis, we hold. Then we make a rounded top. That looks kind of weak, right? We break below VWAP. Look where we hold. That previous support area. And then we bounce again. I would like to see us reclaim that 71.47 area. That is the lowest of the three highs we made. I think if we reclaim that, that's a good look. If we reject there, I would be looking for some more downside. NVIDIA apparently on that move here. Good look there. We have nice support here at that 120.20 area. This is a stock I should have been looking at instead of SMCI because look at that 121 flat bottom break. I noticed it but didn't play it. One thing too is like, I was talking last time, I think Obi was here, we were talking about my side charts. I'm happy I have a lot of side charts, but sometimes I feel like there are so many that you're like, oh, like where do I look? You got to narrow the field, have your ideas you like, stick with your plan, stick with your levels. Thank you, though, to KC saying, Adair, you locked in a great trade with a good strategy. That's fire. I appreciate that. You're going to focus on, I want to say focus on the positive, but you got to focus on what worked, on what made sense. And don't be too hard on yourself because with trading, the market will knock you down. But to quote a different Cardi B line than one we've been quoting all day, knock me down 9 times, but I get up 10. So I will definitely see you guys tomorrow. Shout out to Bears versus Bulls for that shout out and for everything you do. Great community here. This has been such a fun day. Dollar General continuing to sell off, but we'll have to see you guys tomorrow for even more updates. Shout out again to Sharif for everything he does on this desk and everything he does on that screen. We'll see you, Obi and I will see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. We got everybody over there, guys. Take care.
Welcome to the afternoon rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about every day. Neil and Sean, they're locked, they're loaded.